Do I have it as a command? Hold on. This is like a render of me instead of like actively me. What do I gotta? Okay, so I needed to say this. All right, can chat tell the difference between me? Here we go. Click, 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 click. All right. So, all right. First thing we gotta do is we gotta subdivide it, and we're gonna let's go with 4 cuts.
The real you is super ugly.
Wow. System. I think everyone was like really close, only because. Rudy, stop it! $250 kilometers in any German vehicle, 20 air skills in any Volkswagen buggy, drag race in a German super saloon, any German vehicle. Why? I'm just so broken.
Yeah, you can't spell nutrition without nut, am I right?
Ow.
Hello.
Pull the lever.
Oh, Elon. No, you know what? You know what Elon Musk would be? Elon Musk would be a protogen. Or what is that species called? Is that the right name? Protogen. Is that the? Yes, protogen. Elon Musk would be a protogen, and he would. You know what? He would have the goal. He would have the goal to be like, this is an original species. Elon would most certainly 100%. You can clip me on this one, so I have to stand by this. If Elon Musk got a persona, it would be a protogen, and he would make it seem like as if he invented that species. That's what Elon Musk would do. He wouldn't be a snake. He'd be a stronger than 10, stronger than 100 men. An outsider? But how? By the gods! Allies of the Empire! My sincerest apologies for failing to note your arrival. Cookie for Sky! Sky, look! Rabbit girls! Rabbit girls! Hopefully you enjoyed your cookie. It was the warden you wished to know about, yes? My mother, may she rest.
I, Grant C.
Oh, this!
Being put in a
This is...
youth-made outfit and love.
Y'all just gonna let Icy live?
No.
Oh.
Oh.
Diddums.
Oh.
Diddum. Oh.
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 Ech.
Nani?
And then we transfer once more. Let's do it again. Hide this thing. Back over here. Alrighty, there we go. So yeah. Oh, no, wait. Look at that rainbow. Isn't that fantastic? Saving $200 a month in my normal thingamadiggy. So 625. So 625 minus $200, which means that even if I get rid of only 2/3 of my, so because I think last month I spent 680 times by 0.666. Even if I only even if I only get rid of like 2/3 of my takeaway budget, then there's an additional $450 I can use into other expenses, or I can put it into saving, which means that by the time October comes along, then I would have saved for at least the $3,500 it would have cost me to do that, and that is before I get money from Twitch or from, the tax return from Australia this year. So yeah, also, hi there, Butts. Welcome to the stream. Hi there, Zapper. Wait, this isn't simple and clean. What fucking intro is this? I thought every game opened with simple and clean. Everything we're seeing just there should just be simple and clean. Could you give me too many things? Well, Twitter isn't running right now, which is really technically one of like my bigger of the platforms that I decide to make an announcement that I'm streaming and what have you, which I think is honestly crazy. What's my username on Discord? Grant Zeebs. What's my username on Twitch? My goodness, how did that happen? What's my username on YouTube? Well, YouTube is technically using a Google account. Twitter, for some reason, is having a direct link to YouTube, being a QT, by the way. Lo and behold. Alrighty. Ding dong. That's running. Advertisement should be done shortly, or it should be done now for everyone. AC capture. Properties, AC capture, yep, is not grabbing onto. Fell asleep, someone gifted me a sub to someone I don't watch. I wish I could re-gift it. I'm gonna say... that has happened to me... That has happened to me, like, once or twice, actually. I have had some, like, gift subs. Gosh darn you, Furry Cures. I've had gift subs go into, like... be sent to me like once or twice, and it's been to people that I have no clue who they are. Also, is my mic close enough? Hang on a second. Bam, there we go. That should be like a little bit closer, so I should be like a little bit louder for everyone. So yeah, you knew that was gonna happen. I know Incineroar does it, but yeah.
Did you see it?
No, would you look at that. The Robot Zeebs has like 10 kills minimum. But yeah, so, small change to the background here. You'll barely notice it, but it'll be much more visible when I go to the different screen here. So, first things first, this layout for the just chatting area is, so the overlays, as you can see around you from like the top all the way to the right, that is exactly as it should be for... That's pretty much the same thing as it is when I'm just playing and such. So that has been the same. So that's been the difference here on this particular screen, is that little overlay change. The second thing I've done is over into the gaming area. So if I didn't have a game presenting or anything like that, for those of you that get here early, you may like spot it in what have you. It used to be like the Galaxy or what have you. Or if you were like this fella here, drawn by Kusaki, I keep this in the background. But this is what I've got right now. This is a really high quality, like this has like no blurring, like no focus, like no defocusing or anything like that. So this is just the same render, but with a different camera angle from what we get here. So this one, out of focus, focusing on me. This one, the entire thing is on focus. There's no out of focusness. Yeah, so that Keyblade, so this Keyblade, that sword, I have created those. This chair and the plushy zebra, that was me. That couch and that stuff in the corner there has not been me. But as you can see over like all the way across in the yellow frame, that is a piece of work that was done by Mutasaur, and I loved it so much that she did a print, which I need to get framed at one point. She gave me a print when I was at Furdu this year, so I gotta put that in a frame and hang it somewhere in my actual apartment. So if you ever do amazing work, if you ever do this kind of amazing work and you're like, oh, here's a printed copy or something like that, or you just do amazing work overall that's like, you know, safe for work and what have you, it's very likely gonna end up on this wall going forward. I'll put a little frame in it, unless you guys have like unless whoever is doing the drawing has a different thought of how they want it framed and such. and it's gonna get slapped up on that wall there. That's where you get like the me grinning from Emu Fur, and that's where you get the zebra over at the beach from Mutasaur. So I might start putting more things on there. So anything that's like, you know, a commissioned artwork that is of the zebra safe for work, I'm gonna start putting on that wall. I reckon. I think that's a good thing to do because I don't have a lot of safe for work stuff. Hence why there isn't a lot on that wall. And any of the stuff that is normally safe for work is usually it's usually half the time it's an asset already. So like if you're subscribed to me, you have all these different emotes and such. So those are like safe for work emotes. Like I'm not going to do a wall of like all the different emotes and what have you. It's half tempting doing it for the donut, don't get me wrong, but like I'm not going to put rendering time into that. Over behind me is like all these other kinds. There was a time, like probably I tried to do this once a week, but it got like it wasn't doing much in the name of my like my Twitch algorithm and what have you. Once a week, I would try and do Blender 3D stuff, which is how, you know, you got me doing. This is how I got the Keyblade you see here. It's how I got the chair. The Cactuar was off stream. The lightsaber I think was on stream. It's how like little bits and pieces have been done. But the thing is that a lot of the time it takes more than one stream to do it. Like for example, this Keyblade right here, I think it took me like 2 streams to do. Hi there. Welcome. How's it going, Jason? Hope you're doing all right. So yeah, so this is the alteration that we've done to the main game area. Is we have like a high quality render with no blurring of my room, because let me tell you right now, I don't have that amazing of a couch. I don't have a couch in this room. I have it in my living room.
Glug, glub, glug, glub, glug.
Yeah, let me go back over to here. So this is what you see, and there's like a door behind me and what have you. So this is what you see normally, and there's like a blurry background and such. So yeah. Hi there, Morse. All right, let me just get some sippies. Let me get some sippies. Thank you so much. So yeah, and so that was like some of the small edits I've done. I've also like updated the eFuse overlays because I've gotten like a brand new link for them rather than having an 800 by 600 overlay from them. I went for a 1080p overlay, so then that way they're relatively full screen, and then I was able to like shrink them down to size, because that's been my thing for the whole setting up on this stream. Is I would rather work with nearly everything being 1080p or higher quality and then scaling it down, because the thing is that if the moment comes up, excuse me, if I get an asset or something and it's like less than it, and I have to like scale it up, then it looks blurry, it looks terrible. That's been my thought. So but yeah, let me see what happens when we do a clip shout out of Morse Amalgam. Let's have a look-sees.
I've got a whole list of notes of like
I've also lowered the volume
hopefully
of
simple
these
games to implement that I
of
can
these
go,
stream
okay,
clips,
I have
but
to
I
go to the
might
bathroom,
do like a
BRB, and then let
I
me
might
give
up the
people something to
volume
do,
of the shout out
like,
clips.
either
Perhaps?
like, word
I see.
games
All
or
right,
just
let's see.
doing
You're
some
rambling
chat or,
about
like,
stream
something with
integration
polls or something
and
on
an.
the
Oh wait, no,
stream,
that's probably the
whatever.
stream
So, I'm
title.
hoping to start doing
That's
things
probably a
like
stream title, and this is like
that,
someone
hoping to have-
not wanting to deal with advertisements, and they just like, oh, what did I miss the last 30 seconds?
Hey,
Oh no! Oh, it looks like you were doing some things in
nice.
HTML5. I want to say, was that HTML5 stuff? I hope that was HTML5 stuff. I really want to learn how to do it, but working full time makes it like really annoying trying to Godot. Ah, okay. Is it Godot? Oh, or is it Godot? Or maybe is it Godot? Because like, isn't there an actress that's like good? If I type in Godot, yeah, so it gives me Godot, which is the game engine. Waiting for Godot is a play by Irish Screen. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay. And then you have got the Godot engine on Steam. So it looks like you can do 2D or... So it's a 2D, 3D cross-platform game engine. Well, to be fair, most game engines are cross-platform. Very few of them are only the one platform, unless you're talking about, like, I don't know, the RPG Maker. I pronounce it whichever way will upset more people at the time. Geodot. You just call it G-O-O-D-O-T. Find a new way to pronounce it that no one will expect. Just like this. I just realized, G-O-D-O... Hang on. How do those people do the, You know those, spam bots that are like, You know those spam bots where it's like, you post a piece of work or something like that, and they do like the hashtags and such, and they're just like pussy in the bio, but they have to put in all that extra stuff. Like, hang on, there we go. Ding dong, like, you know that, like, that kind of style where it's like, it's just, you can read it, but for a robot is probably the most annoying regex to deal with. Oh, I don't like that, Godot. What is that? How do people do custom fonts in, how do they do that? How do they do that custom font nonsense in Twitch? Cause like, that just feels wrong. My Godot in bio. Yeah, that thing. What is that character? What is that called? Good old Unicode. Ah, okay. Oh, is Godot like those aren't like Godots. Those are mathematical G, mathematical O, mathematical D, mathematical O, mathematical T. Is that it? Original character. Do not steal. Oh. I wonder if someone has done this. Okay, this is gonna be a bit of a weirdy one, but maybe Morse can answer this. But has someone done an overlay where you get an image, a live image, and you overlay it with the classic ASCII, the ASCII art? And I'm wondering if you could do that in like in Whatsamahoozy in OBS, where it's like, oh, here's an image, and then here's a filter where like it extracts like the shapes and what have you. That's kind of what you're doing. Oh, is that it? Are you gonna make it an OBS filter? Because like there's a thing. Hang on a second. So I'm putting it on my. Nope, it's not on Grant VTuber. Where filters? Oh, is it? No, it's a filter on the scene is what it is. Okay, so I've got, let's see, color correction. Those are all the different moves. All right, so I'm using what's called I'm using user-defined shader, and it's from there that you can have and there's a dot shader profile. So there's like this, which does the rainbow. And then there's like, this is the high detailed pixelation, and this is the low detailed pixelation. I don't know what chroma keying is for. And then, oh, and then someone did like the classic time warp thingy-majiggy. Ugh. So there's that. I might make the line thicker now. Maybe I should go for like 30. Yeah, I reckon 30 is a good line. I reckon 30 is show original source behind a partial scan. How does that work? Oh, I see how it is. Okay, no, we don't like that. So yeah, so the rotation and the speed is randomized. Use opacity from scan of each line. Sorry, I was just like reading up on the thingy-majiggy that I've got. Nice fish, Demon Sylveon. Me in bio. Your Triforce is ruined. I'm sorry, Sky. What you should... Like, I don't know if there's a way to do new line easily in Twitter, but if you're able to do, like, a new line, then you would be able to do, like, pyramid stuff. Let's see, so... So yeah, so Morris, if you are actually doing that ASCII key thing for OBS shaders, I would love to get the end result. I'm not gonna pick your brain on figuring out how to do it, because I'm gonna be real, I'm not that good of a programmer, and if I wanted to try and do programming shit for, like, stream and what have you, it would take a lot more time than I willingly... Hang on. It would take a lot more time than I'm willing to commit while I have a full-time job that isn't, you know, programming or artistry related that I can utilize on stream. My job is just desktop support. I provide people IT help of a various level of difficulties, which means that this is the skill that comes to me is like knowing the right Google results in order to fix your problem is what it is. And there's only so much Googling you can do before you just have to, you know, do the work yourself. The effect being done inside Godot, so I don't know if the shader would transfer into a shade filter plugin without some massaging. Just break some legs. Just, like, treat it like a corpse in a trunk. You just break some legs and shove it in, and don't question it when you unpack it. That's how it goes. But yeah. God. It would be cool to somehow do, like, Godot shit. But I've done enough programming in university to know that answer is never fun. Every time you would ask, oh, how do I get started with this? It's unfortunately, you have to get started. There is no shortcut. Oh, how do I get started programming a video game that is a top-down bullet hell shooter? Well, you just have to start programming. Okay, but how do I do the top-down shooter bullet hell? It's like, well, you gotta first start by learning how to program. And it's like, I don't like this. And it's like, yeah, most people don't. You've been working on this overlay for like a year, so yeah, that too. It's never done fast enough. This is the thing about like not being skilled in a creative field is unless you are fast enough, you don't get to take in on the trends everyone is doing. So, to start making a game, we first need to talk about alternative universes. Lol. Them have gone, oh, I have this idea, and then 5 people do it faster and better than me. That one sucks. I feel like that one sucks. If you have like an idea for something and you're struggling, but then people intuitively grasp upon it. That's the one that sucks for me. So, actually, this is gonna be a very real one for you. This is a dream of mine. If I had the time to program this, if I had the time to learn everything I needed to do and get the setup to the way I wanted it, I want a setup similar to what Gwillem and Doigswift have. I want to be able to have, rather than VC Face or something like that, I want to have my Zebra in a Unity environment or what have you, and him being able to move around. There's different, like, redeems that are able to be generated within the environment, and one of the big ones I want to do is I want to make it so that the texture of my, like, the texture of my Zebra shirt or what have you can change. I want to have a little more, like, fun, because I've seen it done with, like, some other character or something like that, where they change the text on her shirt, and I've seen someone in Vignon be like, oh, here's a file that can change the text as well, but it's like, I'm not interested in those. What I'm interested in is changing the texture file. Is you provide an image. You provide an image that fits, like, in a square or something like that. Like, I would have to be restrictive, where it's like, oh, the aspect ratio has to be a 1:1, and if you want an idea of, like, how well it will fit on the shirt, here's, like, the UV export just to, like, you know, give you guys, like, a sanity check. But I would love for a redeem that is somehow able to be like, oh, here's a shirt for the Zebra to wear. And then, you know, at that point, I would finally start having moderators start doing a little more on my stream, where it's like, oh, let me just check the HTML link. And then they can be like, yep, that's funny. Yep, I love the fake boobies. Nope, that is anti-Semitic. We are not going to select that. Oh, that's just a swastika. Ban. That's what I would love. NME64_U implemented a whole thing that allows their chat to directly draw onto their shirt. Oh. Ooh. That's what got me started making my own overlay stuff. Then Motion Studio came out. Here's the thing. There's Motion, and then there's Obscure as well. So there's different options out there. Like, and the thing is that Obscure, as far as I know, is like a full-on team trying to use Unreal Engine to do that kind of stuff. And then we've got Motion, which is still utilizing Unity, as far as I know. All of these are really cool, but I feel like something pops up for me where I now have to, I go back to Blender, and it's like, I need to know the basics before I go through with it. Which is a very, like, I don't have the money, and I don't have the charisma to just go to someone like Morse or Wolk or whoever and be like, hi, I would like you to make this thing for me so that I don't have to think about a thing on how to convert it and make it work in this system. I want you to just give me the files and give me the program, no questions asked. It's like, I can't do that. If I'm going to Morse or Wolk for anything, it's like, hey, how do I do this? What do I need to know in order to make this change? Or, hey, I want to know how to replicate the yippee, but without having to use like 3 or 4 different languages to do that because they talk about utilizing OBS and like other kinds of nonsense. Who displays text on their shirt uses Unreal, and I think they just released a public version of their stuff. God damn it. Paying people was the shortcut I was talking about. Oh yeah, no, paying people is... Like, let's be real. We are in a capitalist society. Paying people is the biggest shortcut in the world. It really is. And it's like, that's not even a joke. That's just real, okay? It's what it is. Do you want to learn about medicine so to keep your child alive? No. Get health insurance. Get a doctor. Pay them. Oh, you don't want to educate your kid? Pay someone to do it for you. Oh, you don't want to have to, you know, make your own homes? Pay someone to make your home. Oh, you don't want to pay for utilities? Hire someone to deal with your utilities. You don't want to make your own art? Pay it. You don't want to make your own programs? Pay it. Buying shit is like, this is what irks me. Whenever there's a quote that's like, money doesn't buy happiness, I'm like, it brings in the resources. And people that say money don't buy happiness clearly are not spending money the right way. Okay? I would love for people to like go to someone on welfare or on youth allowance and just go to them and just say point blank to their face while you're, you know, wearing in your Gucci before you hop into your Bugatti or something like that, where you're just sort of like, you know, money doesn't bring you happiness. You should be thankful for the $300 a week you get. Like, you're gonna get socked in the face most likely. If someone wanted a full custom VTuber, you're probably looking at a few $100s minimum. Few thousand minimum, more likely. And that's if you don't want to step in and be like, hey, I can help you with that shit. Vignon has plugins. You have to... Vignon recently did some updates, so there is, like, an easier way of adding it. Because, like, everything in Vignon is, like, Node plugin based with a whole different slew of nonsenses and shit. So, like, Vignon is becoming very, like, technical to use and such, and there's some stuff which is just absolutely you should learn how to use, such as, and it's like beneficial because it uses the VCF avatar, because in VCF avatar, unlike Vignon, or sorry, unlike VRM, if you have a hidden object in VCF avatar, it's still there when you export it, and you like can, and so then that way you can like turn off and on like all the different objects. So for example, my zebra has like the Jedi robes and the maid outfit invisible, but I can just, and with VRM, if I exported that object, those things wouldn't be there on the VRM export. They aren't there, they're gone. But on VCF avatar, I can just tell it, oh, let's toggle the, you know, the whatsamahoozy, the object visibility, and it changes, and it does that for this. It's how I'm able to do this with my t-shirt. And then this, and then that. This is how it is. Is great, and Suvi is a treasure to the entire... So we got a VC Face, let's be real. That is, like, the godfather. Because not only did they do the VC Face application, which, I'm gonna be real with you, I have not seen a better face tracking webcam-wise than VC Face. VC Face does better webcam tracking of like the face, and the neck and the shoulders better than any other program I've seen that's incorporated the webcam tracking. I know Vignon has webcam tracking. I know Warudo has webcam tracking. Every application has webcam tracking, but none of them do it better than VC Face. And then there's also the fact that, what's the name of the person that did the avatar? Who did it? Who did... So, there's a dude named Emilian Dietz. That's his name. There is a person named Dietz who is also a programmer, and they've done the VCF avatar. That is not a standardized avatar format. Like, that's why you don't see, like, third-party applications that are not related to VTubing use it. A lot of them will be like, oh, give me an FBX or give me a VRM. But if you're dealing with, like, face tracking software for things like Warudo, Vignon, VTuber Plus, oh, absolutely they're going to be using the VCF avatar file format. So you got to give them that props. VC Face does better implementation of OpenC Face than anything else out of the box. I legit do not know what they are doing. It's because what they're doing is that they're because actually, hold on a second. Because here's the thing, VC Face and OpenFace they're in the Git repositories. And as well as so OpenC Face. OpenC Face, yeah, like that's in the Emilian AVT. It's a Git repository. It's a public Git repository. It's a library, not a standalone application. They're working in VC Face, which allows them animating VRM and VSF avatar 3D models by using OpenC Face tracking. VTube Studio uses OpenC Face for webcam tracking to animate live 2D models. A renderer for the Godot can be found here. Ooh! Hang on a sec. A renderer for the Godot engine. Virtual Puppet Project Vupper. Or VPupper. It's a VTuber software made with Godot. Godot 4 rewrite is in progress. The GOT 3 is currently located in the GOT 3 branch. So in general, it does a VRM model loading. It receives tracking data, maps the tracking data into a VRM model. So it doesn't use a custom model. VPupper is basically dead as fuck. Is it because they have... Wait, hang on. Is it dead as fuck? They did an update January of this year. I don't know about, like... I don't know the speed... Maybe because of the fact that, you know, it's VTubing software, but if you're talking about, like, just standard programming updates, that's still fairly recent. It's still within the quarter. The creator announced development is on indefinite hiatus and deleted their Discord. Oh, okay, yeah, no, that shit is dead. That is going the same way as the... Wait, what's happening to my neck? That's going the same way as StreamFX. You remember StreamFX? Like, back in 2022, StreamFX was, like, the go-to OBS, like, add-on / plugin for nearly everything. If you wanted to do something in OBS and they were like, oh, do you want to, like, you know, do something funky with this source? Like, you know, 3D manipulation or some shit? First off, download StreamFX and such. There was all this kind of shit. And then the guy made a Patreon because, let's be real, it was for free for, like, the longest fucking time, and there was no paywall for, like, you know, getting into a more recent version and what have you, especially as everyone was moving into OBS post-COVID, and, you know, and everyone was now just revealing the secret of, like, oh yeah, use StreamFX. It has all these other plugins, and some of them are, like, not even, like, commonly used plugins that are, like, almost a requirement for other people. But yeah, at one point, makes the Patreon, then makes it a case of, oh, you can't get alpha and betas unless you're part of Patreon. You can only get the standard full stable build. But then came the fun moment of, oh, because there's multiple people working on StreamFX, and one person was using a package incorrectly, the the compiled package is no longer valid and is technically illegal. So they had to like scrub the records of them being able to use the stable build. So for about 2 years now, the only Stream FX package available is one behind their Patreon firewall. There is no update to Stream FX that works with the current versions of OBS, which is current, like, ever since OBS, I want to say 28. OBS 28, I think, was when they, you know, natively included WebSockets, and because that was, like, one of the other go-to plugins everyone included with OBS was, like, the WebSockets plugin. They've made it a thing since OBS 28, and is a lot more robust, because it's a case of, oh, hey, you also have, like, you know, password security, and it uses a different kind of format. It's so great. UN started the project and put on Git, however, they hoping they get more contributors to help with the development. Instead, just ended up with a bunch of people like me who needed constant support. Oofies. You meet someone with an omelet addiction, you can't break a few eggs without making an omelet. Teaching you how to do all the basic, more advanced you're expecting to know nowadays. Here's the thing. As the years go on, Lurk Kobold. Also, hi, Sleeping Annex. Sorry, I just been missing on like all these kinds of people. I've been almost in a conversation with Morse at this point. Wait, what did you write? Absolutely fucking buys all of the happiness of the planet. It is the tool to happiness, is what it is. But yeah, so to go on from what Lurk said, like probably like a message or two ago, every year, as we go further and further in, it will actually get easier to, like, the barrier of entry is, it's getting lower, but there's a little bit of sophistication added in, like, on, like, the later step on how to get started into something. So, for example, getting into Blender has always been simple, ever since Blender 2.0. Ever since we got that fucking donut tutorial from that AI Schiller, everyone can get into Blender, and it's some of the easiest things to get into. And now we have even more people being able to introduce to us to some of the magics of Blender, such as the node-based texturing by King Cole. Oh, we got Ducky for some of our more complex stuff. We've even got some people introducing us to how to actually utilize the geometry nodes, which is probably one of the cooler things to be done in Blender and 3D software, that at one point is probably going to be like the reason to go into Blender, which is, oh, here's some geometry nodes, so then that way you make something that is, you know, much more easier to understand than just, you know, flicking the switch on a simulator and hoping it does the best. Instead, it's a case of, oh no, here's you being able to do personalized control about the clouds and shit, and being able to do it with less sophistication than Houdini normally does. Oh, thank you, Lurk Kobold, for the follow. I can't... Wait, you weren't following me before? Strange. I thought you were following me already, because it didn't say you were like a first-time chatter or a returning chatter. It just... I honestly... Thank you so much, Lurk Kobold. What did Morse say? UN pretty much created or contributed to every Godot plugin that would help for VTubing streaming, and is basically the Exceldro of Godot. What is... Okay, now you just gave me a name I do not understand. Exceldro. Okay, so Exceldro is... Okay, now, for some reason, the name meant nothing to me, but the face said more. That's the guy who replaced the Stream FX with a proper series of OBS plugins. So rather than having like one full package for Stream FX, there's now like dozens of different plugins to do what you need to do. E2. Long time lurker, first time chatter. Nah. So yeah, alrighty. Close these tabs. I don't need them open. I'll keep those two open because they're talking about resources in Vignon that I'm tempted to use and what have you. So yeah, we just went on this long ass tangent. If you've installed plugins for OBS, you've probably installed at least one plugin by Exceldro. I know I have because it's the shader plugin. The fact that I have the shader plugin, Morse, that's how I know. Nutty has done a video, like, hang on a second. Nutty, Stream FX replacement. I'm pretty sure, yep, here we go. When did he? No, he must have done a more recent one. Oh, Jesus Christ, he's done like a top OBS plugins of 2024. Okay, I'll have to have a look at that video another time then. But yeah, so I know for certain that I've done like the Exceldro, like there's gonna be a plugin or something like that in my system that is thanks to Exceldro. I just for some reason just could not remember the name. So yeah, thank you for reminding me, Morse. Where was I in my... I had like a few things I felt like talking about. Oh, actually, hang on a second. X.com. Can I finally post on X.com that I am now streaming? It looks like I can. For whatever reason, it didn't want me to earlier. I don't know why. Like, something cracked. Maybe it was because I was trying to upload a video, but I'm pretty sure the video I'm uploading is not that big of a file. How big is it? Hang on a sec. It's 7 seconds long, and it is... How big is the file? Where's my... where? Oh, here it is. MP4. This is... It's 1.8 megabytes. It should not be that hard to post. The time warp scan is also Exceldro. Okay, I didn't think Exceldro was responsible for that one, because I knew he did all the StreamFX replacements, like a majority of them. I didn't know he was responsible for the time warp thingy-majiggy earlier. So yeah, alright, where am I in my train of thoughtses? So, I've already had a little thingy-majiggy about... What did I wanted to talk about? Oh yeah, Scribbly Noodle has now uploaded a... X went down for a few seconds at 6 p.m. Oh, nice, so I wasn't the only one that experienced that. Good to know. Anyway, Scribbly Noodle had a... I'm gonna open that in a new tab. Just... because that's honestly funny, and at one point I might retweet it, who knows. But yeah, Scribbly Noodle did a, so if you weren't aware from like 2 weeks ago, / last week, hi there, Bookie, welcome to the stream. Scribbly Noodle hosted a Twitch Fur meetup, back during Furdo, and it was, I had some thoughts about it. They gave me a feedback thing as well, which was really great, and I was and I was like, oh, it would be nice if there was like a video or something just to refresh me, because the thing is that I was in fursuit when it happened, and I know there was times I was just like, and then I was just like doing these like little hand thingy-majiggies to keep myself awake, and so I was worried of like, oh, I must have missed like a major section of the panel and what have you. So, but thankfully, the person that was responsible for recording finally arrived home, and excuse me, and they've, you know, uploaded it up on, so he's made it, so I linked you to the Twitter, just so then that way he gets the traffic and what have you. So, because in that Twitter feed, they present you the YouTube link, which is an unlisted video, so, and it's like an hour and a half long. It doesn't take forever, but I couldn't watch it at like 1.5 or 2 times speed, because the like quality of the microphone in an audience, it's a bit like watching a Zoom call with a conference featured. It's a little bit hard to just keep track of noises, and you can't do that with it being a second monitor activity. It's a bit of a first monitor activity. And then they then made a link underneath it talking of like, oh, don't forget that if you have any feedback on the event, to leave it in the thingy-majiggy. They've released some notes already on how to improve it next year. I've already done my submission, and it's a little bit like what Blue was talking about, and yeah, it's almost like another opportunity to talk about it again. I'm gonna be real with you, because because I asked for like the PowerPoint presentation they had of like I wanted like the curated questions, because as I was watching through it, I was able to finally get through it all today because I wasn't working, and nope, I did not miss a question. I didn't miss a person's response. It was about as disconnected as I remember it being. And it very much was a case of the panelists would sort of go on tangents and waffle on with the questions, which meant that trying to navigate what question people were on and what they were trying to tell made it tricky. Hence why you have to make it like a main monitor screen for me, and you couldn't just leave it on the side like a podcast. So that was the first thing. And the second thing was, 4 out of the 6 people on that stage were artists with backgrounds in prior streaming on artist streaming platforms. So there was that. But into the positives. Zephora, absolutely loved her on the panel. She was great. I would not want to have her excluded from that panel. Inverted Bolt was a great addition because honestly, Inverted Bolt was like an odd man out for that panel, because because you had Scribbly Noodle, previously streaming on Pretario and was now streaming on Twitch with an artist background. Kusaki streaming with DJing in the back, like as their prior experiences, and doing a little bit of DJing once a month, but doing a variety of video games. But got their start from the DJing, what have you. Mixie started way long ago and did the art thingamadiggy, and then moved over to Twitch and does a variety of games. Doesn't do the arts very often, I will be real with you, hence why I don't know if she would be considered an artist streamer. Zephora, same sort of thing, started a very long time ago, did a little bit of art. I'm not too sure if they stick to art. Meanwhile, what is Lurk Cobalt? Here's basically where I'm at. I'm now in my 30s, grew up in the word. What? Oh, Jesus, that... Ah! That is going to absorb me for, like, a few minutes. Was given up on... How did that start? Where did that come up? I know you weren't intending to dump shit. It's just... That was a little bit left... Like, I don't know if there's, like, a stream delay for me. Like, maybe we were talking about, like, the difficulties of, like, you know, learning new shit. But I feel like that one was a left field kind of post. I'll keep it there. I'll keep the message there. I just need to remember. But yeah, that was a little bit out of pocket. I will be real with you, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I too am in my 30s. I too am autistic, but I did not have the disadvantage of being in a US state that had a terrible mental health thingy. But let me just tell you right now, most places do not suit like trying to educate anyone with a mental health issue. You're unfortunately going to have to deal with that autistic burnout where you either did really well at school or really badly, and then you finally get out of school and you're wondering, how the fuck did I get to here? Assigned American at birth? Don't be given that look, Morse. Assigned American at birth? Making it sound like it's a terrible thing to be an American. Granted, there's a lot of problems in America, but don't blame him for being blame them. Sorry, not him. Them. Sorry, you bother doing the pronouns thing. I should try to keep to that. Them. Don't blame them for being assigned American at birth. I was American at birth. Hi there, Ginger Fox. Welcome to the stream. But yeah, actually, now I remember where I was. Now I remember where I was going with my conversations and such before I got left turned by Cobalt. So, Morse is also American. I'm gonna be real. I forgot. Are you still in America? Like, how did I not remember this? How do I not? Why did I think you were like? I don't know why. I thought you were like British. I thought you were like British or Canadian. Cause I think I thought you were like, I think like there was a bit of a thing of like, oh, because of all the Australians you're friends with and such, there was a mistake of being Australian, but it's like, nope, not Australian. I remember that part, but I couldn't remember the thingy-majiggy from but yeah, and then yeah, I just never kept track with like the correction after you said you weren't Australian. But yeah, I thought British or Canadian. British. Yeah, imagine being British. Imagine being British in this chat. It's an untech specific Australian is what it sounds like. Anywhoosies, back to the Twitch Fur panel. It was so yeah, I watched through the video again. It was a 2-hour panel, and the talks went on for about an hour and 48 minutes. I'm gonna be real with you. The questions that were raised, and then I don't think should have taken an hour and 48 minutes to answer. It might have taken that long because there was like basically 6 people on this panel who had to answer it. But there's the added on fact that even the simple questions such as, oh, who or what got you to start streaming? Those took a really long fucking time to answer, and there was tangents galore on some of the questions that were raised, and I'm not too sure if that was like on purpose when Z/Kusaki picked these questions, which is why I added into my feedback thingy-majiggy of, oh, if you're gonna have curated questions before the panel, I would like to see thought out answers, like, you know, scripted answers from the panelists, so then that way you can sooner get to people who have attended the panel to be able to ask their questions, or so then that way you can avoid tangents and, like, you know, anecdotal stories taking over the thing. Because yeah, those were going around, and the thing is that even Zephora had those kind of anecdotal stories and like tangents going off, but some of them were just absolute gold. Like when they were talking about the issues about does the furry Twitch community have a parasocial problem? Yes, they do, and it's within the furry community and the Twitch community, which means it gets compounded in the Twitch furry community. So yeah, actually, hang on. I'm gonna wait, is Z streaming right now? Hang on a sec. I want to know if I can... Oh, let me just head to... Are they streaming? No, they're not. Okay, hang on. I need to send them a Telegram message. Quick question. Am I able to present the PowerPoint slides on stream? I've gone on a tangent and talking about the panel again. Hopefully Scribbly Noodle will answer that soon. Because the thing is that I wanted the questions just so then that way, much like reading material from a university lecture, I was watching the panel and then I was also looking at the PowerPoint slides, seeing whether they were like, you know, keeping on track with some of the stuff that was talked about on the panel. The earlier stuff, not too well. They didn't exactly give a really good answer about, oh, the numbers or burnout. But, you know, that's what it is. So it stemmed from the talk about the thing. Oh, capitalism talk. My invariable ability, someone said, the most uncomfortable important part of the worst possible time because my ability to read the room is garbo. Oh, don't worry. My ability to read the room and, you know, take on, like, the small nuances of socializing is not too great. So, but I get better if you, like... This is unfortunately one of those sides of autism, unfortunately, Cobalt, where the only way this gets better is professional help and training on the first half, and then just training within real-world environments in the second half. And then sometimes people will, you know, if you're good friends with people, which, granted, that's a big ask, having good friends, but if you can if you have a friend that is willing to like tell you more than just, oh, it's socially not appropriate to do this. Like, if they can explore a little bit further on like, oh, how it is that they picked up on reading the room, or things that you've done that aren't taken well, rather than just being like, oh, they don't do a good vibe with you, and instead give you like real world examples. Like, for example, for me, a real world example of what a friend has told me from like last year when I attended Furdy to this year was that I was seen as a little confrontational because I was passionate in my debates, and unfortunately, if I was conversing with someone and we had either a differing opinion or we talked about a heavy matter such as politics, governing, or game design, I would want to get into I would get passionate and I would debate them, and it would almost be an argument. I did not recognize that this was, you know, putting them on edge and such. And from that, I was able to learn, okay, I should not be trying to have a debate with someone. I should hear what they have to say, be in agreement or disagreement, and try to move on. Let's not focus on, you know, drilling down of being like, oh, why don't you agree with this? Or what do you think about this? Or I want your thoughts on that. It's like, rather than drilling down, you instead, you know, expand upon it. Zeebs, don't know if you've seen it already, but do you remember the Zodiac superhero comic from Eggplant Man? No. I recognize those words, but I do not recognize them all together. I have never heard of this person before. Who is this? Hi there, foppers! Welcome to the stream. Also, when did I say in Pog form? I don't remember Pog form. Excuse me. Never mind. Alright. We'll be back in Pog form. No, I don't remember saying that. I'm quoting the old script. Oh, okay. Because I will be real with you. When you said in Pog form, that scene did pop into my head of Millhouse with the Alf Pogs, where he's like, he's back in Pog form because he sold Bart's soul. That's honestly crazy that they were able, because the thing is that Millhouse got Bart's soul for $5. He wouldn't give it back unless it was for $50 because he understood that Bart was having a crisis of faith and was like, I can demand more for this because it is no cost to me holding on to it for longer. It's going to be a cost for Bart to not hold on to it and to balance like, oh, is it worth spending $50 to get back a soul that hasn't cost him $50 yet? So, yeah. Gosh, people love the old, thingamadoogies. Where's Z? Yeah. Doesn't look like... It doesn't look like he is online and speaking. I hope I have not been a bother to him. Hopefully I've not been a bother to him. Because, like, it was a great thing that he gave me the PowerPoint slides, and he originally... Z's gonna be streaming in, like, 10 minutes? Is he streaming tonight? Is he? Got a call. The account has started uploading again yesterday, and since it was one of your favorite comments, you had such a crush on Libra and Leo. Is he a good artist? Are they a good artist? Hold on a second. Eggplant man. Gallery. Let's have a look. On the get-go, it's not my cup of tea. I don't know. As far as like yeah, it's not my cup of tea. I'm not a this kind of action slash violence like doesn't do it for me, and something about the portions and perspectives doesn't do it. It's just, you know. Yeah. Sorry. Just spreading the word. Fair enough, fair enough. When you first raised it, I'm gonna be real, I thought it was a warning call. I'm not a fan of those, but if it's just a case of like you were absolutely just vibing to the this is great 8, they're back, and you're just fanboying slash fangirling, that's fine. It's kind of personal. Good artist is kind of personal, I believe. It's okay. But yeah, it is a very like beauty is in the eye of the beholder kind of thing, where it's like I would not fault someone for liking it. So it would be very hypocritical for me to, you know, say I didn't like a piece of art, but then demand for someone to like the same stuff that I did. It's not a thing. It was your first ever furry comic. You was a fan back when you was a 14-year-old brat. God damn. God damn. And they hadn't did shit for like 7 years apparently. How's it going, Butternuts? That is such a phrase, Butternuts. It is going is what it is. I've been going through a little bit of something called Dungeon Meshi. That was pretty good. Went through the Twitch Fur panel video that was uploaded like a day or two ago. That was great. I got more photos from Furdu, which was good as well. I was able Engrel was there with their camera, and they've taken a few photos, which was great. Actually, I can probably share with you some of the fursuit photos they took. So the ones I got today. So here's one. Oh, Jesus Christ, that's huge. Let me just shrink that just a bit. Krista. Alrighty, so there's me. There's me in my fursuit. Did I fix the sleeves? Okay, I kind of fixed the sleeves. So there's me in fursuit, where on Saturday we all went to the beach. So that's me there. And then, as always, dab. You gotta dab. Oh yeah, and then this is when I met my fursuit creator. This here is Creative Beasts, aka I think their persona's name is Kyle? Or Krill? Something with a K. But yeah, this is their fursuit. And so that's me like arm wrestling with them. But then we did like did the arms up, which was great. We did the we did another arm flex. It was fantastic. And yeah, that was the photo. Oh, here's one I didn't share because this was only like last week and such. But here's the one with the lions that got done with me. I'm unfortunately annoyed because, as you can see with my left sleeve, the muscle portion like slipped down. So Kia? Oh, it might be Kia. You might be right there, Morse. But yeah, here's the lion photo I was talking about with like the 4 lions behind me and me just sitting on the couch like, wow, this is so great. What a great spot. So that's me. So that's me in that suit. I wish the arms weren't slipping. So, but yeah, my fursuit creator, they noted that they're currently going through 1 or 2 more commissions they have to deal with, but after that, they're probably going to close the slots down for a bit, but then they're going to send an email out to previous fursuit owners, some older than others, about, you know, going through an update with their fursuits, and then later on about repairs. I would like to go through them for some repairs and an alteration. I've got a loose ear, and one of my feet's crocs are loose as well. None of them are gonna, like, fall off, but it's a case of, like, I'm a little... Like, the croc one is a worry for me because of the whole, like, you know, walking around and things. Like, if the hoof can just, like, wobble around like that, I'm a little bit anxious about stepping near, like, you know, varying surfaces and what have you. So there's that, but then there's also the case of one of the alterations I'd like to see them do is shoulder straps. Being able to make it so that I can, you know, maybe somehow clip the shoulders together, so then that way I'm not having to, like, regularly, like, pull my sleeves up, because even though there's like an elastic cord to tighten around my arm, it's still my bicep and, like, close to the shoulders area, where I am regularly, like, you know, I'm doing all kinds of movements, so the muscle is gonna, like, you know, it's gonna, like, the abductors and what have you are just gonna, like, start slipping it down into a more comfortable position, so then that, where at one point it's just gonna go down to, like, where my elbow is, because that's what would end up happening sometimes. And then there's me during the fursuit walk, so someone set up... This is only in 4K right now. They say they will get an 8K video out there, but this was set up, like, just before the entrance into the beach. So there's me, and because I took this and I thought it was really funny, we went and found... Oop, hang on. Yeah. Blue spotted. There we go. So we spotted a blue foxy nicey icy. Look at him. Look how, like, I don't know why. There's something about Blue's head that just has this, like, deer in the headlights kind of thing. Maybe it's because of, like, the hair, like, falling forwards. But I feel like anytime you catch Blue in fursuit, it's a surprise. I feel like they were surprised to be seen. Because, like, with everyone else, it's like, like, the eyes, like, do a sort of thing, but with Blue, it just feels like Icy needs a haircut. No, Icy needs to learn to use hairspray. You know what I should have done? You know what I should have done, Ripper? I should have offered my hairspray. I should have gone to them and be like, hey, let's try and style your hair or something, so it doesn't fall in front of your face like this or something. Because I think maybe that's the thing that causes an issue, is the fact that it's a style that's gonna fall in front of the eyes and be a problem. Maybe that's what it is. So, yeah. Oh, what is it? I heard some sort of... I'm back. Oh yeah, you're right. He's right. He's online right now. Fish. Welcome back. See? I didn't realize you were streaming today when I sent my telegram earlier. Is it Treat Your Friends Day today? No. What telegram? Just... There we go. All right, cool. I got Scribbly's permission. Okay, cool. Hi there, Angro. Welcome to the stream. I was just earlier showing... Actually, let me show it off again. Let me get the photo. Here we go. Look at that. Look at this strong zebra you took a picture of. Look at him. He's so strong. He's so muscular and handsome. Thank you so much, Angrel. Amazing. Nice work. All right. So yeah, Scribbly Noodle has given me permission to present the slides that they had at the Twitch Fur panel. So just so you can have context of like the kind of questions we got and such like that. So let me just delete this image. You know what? Let's go to the gaming scene. So, oh, this is my new background, by the by, Angrel. It's a non-blurry render of my room. At some point, I'm gonna need to go into Blender and maybe do more renders and objects and create more things like that. Hi there, Gamertech Chub. You look awesome in your suit. Thank you. Not very many people were aware I was in that I have a fursuit and such. So this year, I tried to be a little more present in my fursuit, like walking around, shaking hands, and what have you. Anytime someone had a camera, I would do a flex and a Manderville dance. I don't know. I have not yet seen my zebra doing the Manderville dance on the Twitter feeds yet. That's the thing that upsets me. I thought that would be my way of being recognized at the Furdo panel, is the fact that, oh, here's a zebra doing the Manderville in partial fursuit. Nope, that is not how that is not popped up on any Twitter feed yet. Any whoosies. Let me present to you, so there should be no audio to this video, but here we go. Ding dong. Here we go. So this is the Control D. There we go. So this is what they had for the what's-a-mahoozy, for the Twitch Fur panel. I have it as a video form, that way I can like pause and play. So these were the panelists that we got. So we have our hosts. So these are the people that asked Furdo to create this panel. It was a collaboration with Z and Kusaki. Z, aka Scribbly Noodle in this case. They were the one that put all this together, okay? So if you want to know who was responsible for actually doing all the important work and what have you, this is them, okay? Let me just give them a shout out. They're already partner. They don't really need this, but here you go. I don't think they were made partner while the panel was going off, but I'm pretty sure they were made partner while they were at Furdo, which was kind of funny. Any whoosies. So Z was basically the one that hosted, set up the Google Forms, coordinated with the panelists, and got in contact with Kusaki. I believe Kusaki was the one who did the Twitch clips. There was like a highlight reel. It took like 10 minutes, I want to say, to go through all the different clips that were submitted to this panel, because at the end there was also like a banner with all the people that were featured, and then they invited these 4 panelists: Inverted Bolt, Zephora, Mixie, and Mega. So these were the 4 panelists. This is why I had my thought of like, oh yeah, basically like 4 different digital, like, look at this: digital artist, variety streamer, digital artist, variety streamer. Mega says she's a weird little cat gremlin. That's not true. She is a digital artist / variety streamer. Meanwhile, Scribbly Noodle, artist, voice actor, VTuber. Yep, that is true. I absolutely love Kusaki's like variety streamer. I thought that was like quite funny when I first heard it, and it makes sense as like that. I feel like that should be a unique one furries can use, is variety. And then this is how they were splitting up the sections. So I won't stick around on that one, but it was a separation of simple, advanced, tough, and then there was like a chaser, which was meant to be after the tough stuff. So it opened up with simple things. So this was supposed to be things like easy questions of like, oh, who are you and why, like what get you started and what have you. Who or what got you into streaming? What are the most enjoyable and most challenging parts of streaming? How do you stick to a schedule? These are the easy questions. I'm going to be real with you. That third one there, how do you stick to a schedule? That one probably shouldn't have been a simple one. That could have been a little more advanced, but you know, one of the exercises I wanted to do as well with the PowerPoint presentation is like try and answer these myself. And would you guys be interested in that? Hang on a second. Let's see. Do I do a poll? Let's do a poll. Let's open up the poll interface. Should Grant Zeebs go... I should have asked this before I went through the panel. Go through the panel questions. Yeah, nah. Let's have it going for 2 minutes. So we got a poll open that is running for 2 minutes. But vote now in the poll. You're able to do like additional votes with the... Actually, I should have probably removed that. I probably should have removed the channel point voting thingy-majiggy. But I'm going to leave that going for 2 minutes. So yeah. In the earlier tweet, there was the YouTube video link. That one has the, you know, the clips, highlights, and what have you. I was featured in there. I love it. The thing that I didn't love was that there were points in the clips where there was a good number of chuckles, and sometimes like the entire you know, panel, people would have a chuckle. No one chuckled at my one. That one hit me. That one was just like, oh, it wasn't actually that funny of a clip to share. It was me. It was like, actually, I can probably present it to you. Hang on a second. It's no doubt in my featured thingy-majiggies. So if I go down to here, yep, cool. I'm muted. So I go to Grant Zeebs. I go to videos. Show all featured clips. Ding, 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 ding. Here it is. So where share, copy to clipboard. So if I go, I think it's play. There we go. This is the
Y'all
clip.
just gonna let Icy live?
Me, when I was just
No.
playing my silly hero character with the random magic spells, and I decide to just like kamikaze right in front of Blue Foxy and Icy, and it was just funny hearing of you're all just gonna let Icy live like that, and then there was just like this explosion, and it's just like, nope, we're not. So love it. All right, let's have a look. Okay, 100% people are interested in me going through the panel questions. Excellent. Alrighty then. Let's go through... Actually, let me move this thing just a little bit, okay? So, actually, hang on. Control D. I'm going to shrink this just a little bit. Control D. I'm going to move it up a little bit. There we go. So, this is our... So, this is the panel. This is what people had. So, the first question... Actually, let me just go back a few steps. Who or what got you into streaming? Okay, so for the who got me into streaming, it was a mixture of different VTubers, okay? So it was Mutasaur, and I want to say Scribbly Noodle as well, actually, because I'm pretty sure Scribbly Noodle was streaming just before I was, but Mutasaur was definitely one of the ones that popped up. I absolutely love her content, and she was using a live 2D VTuber. I had this model. I had the Grant Zeebs model. Actually, no. Did I start streaming? No, she was streaming before I was. Anywhoosies. So I very much had this model for about half a year, I believe, before I started doing streaming, and it was like 2021 that I was doing it when I got started. So we weren't in like the full problems of COVID, but we were close to it still. And I had the thought of, I liked playing video games. I very much enjoyed it. And I just had the thought of, you know what? It would be fun streaming, but I don't want to stream with a webcam, which as fun as it is to stream, I knew the trappings of success and what have you, because I tried doing a let's play a number of years ago, back at the beginning of university or the end of high school. I tried doing a let's play. I didn't have a webcam for it, and I was cringe. I was terrible. I didn't really have a good way of doing it, and like my first video was like Batman Arkham City. Didn't do a good job, so didn't touch recording or anything like that for years. But then I got into streaming. I used VTubing as my avenue of presenting myself, and I have to thank Wolk for making the model, and for when I later went to them and said, hey, can you have it working with VC Face? And they're like, absolutely I can, because it's very similar to VR chat. I'm like, excellent, that's good to know. And then I was able to learn how to, put the thing together myself afterwards, so then that way I'm able to do small edits and put them back into here. What are the most enjoyable and most challenging parts about streaming? Okay, I'm going to start with the most challenging part. The most challenging part of streaming is being able to balance in, like, doing the streaming for a fun, like, not having to think too hard about what the numbers are, how to talk to chat, moderating, how to advertise and stuff. Like, trying to wear all the different hats streaming has is very difficult. I've not solved that. I don't think anyone on the panel other than Zephora, I want to say, has solved it. Maybe Mega. I don't. But yeah, it's a ongoing thing. Me trying to, like, all the technicalities outside of the actual task of streaming is difficult for me. The most enjoyable part of streaming is the fact that I get to play or do whatever it is I want on this platform. Any of you watching right now are aware that I'm just going through, like, all the different video game canon that exists, and I love that. So that's what I've been doing. How do you stick to a schedule? Oh, easily. Oh, hang on, missed it. How do you stick to a schedule? Easy, with discipline. It's not the same as enjoyment. I will be real with you, but discipline is one of those ones where it's like, oh, even if you don't feeling it, you still do it. I work full time, similar to some of the people that were on the panel, but not everyone who does streaming has a full-time job, but not everyone that's streaming has all the free time in the world. So having this schedule, like, even if you have all the time in the world, get a schedule out there. It helps your viewers. What's the word I'm looking for? It sets the expectation of when they can watch you and how long they might be able to grab your attention. So even now, if you go to, twitch.tv/GrandSeebs and you look down in the bottom of the things when I'm not streaming, I have filled out the schedule, and it's approximately what you can expect me doing, which is Monday is streaming whatever the F I want, unless I set a game category. Wednesday, I haven't yet set the category for Wednesday, but it is a Yakuza game. I'm going through my backlog of, video game canon as it is. Meanwhile, Thursday got the D&D night with Code this week, which is nice. And then Saturday is either MMO night, or first Saturday of the month is the party game stream. So I'm trying, so the first Saturday of the month is a bit of a tricky one for me to do, but I'm hoping, but with the discipline of sticking to the schedule, I'm hoping to make that a more regular thing. God damn, these questions were harder to answer than I thought. Next up is the advanced stuff. I remember this one was the one where there was a lot of tangents and there wasn't a lot of good answers. I'm wondering if I can answer these better or worse. Probably worse. Let's see. Identifying what makes for a good sponsorship. I have never taken on sponsorships. Having said that, I have not taken on sponsorships because of two reasons. Number one, there isn't a guarantee of, actual return from anything that Stream Elements has given me. I do not like it. I know there's like dime a dozen of them out there, but all of them are the same of play a video game, you advertise it for like 2 weeks or something like that, and you have to do at least like 2 or 3 streams, but you only get a benefit from that when a number of people register for the game or purchase something and they use your referral code. There is no guarantee for you wasting 2 weeks on that sponsorship. I've had an energy drink company, or not an energy drink, but a gamer supplement thing. Like, there's so many of them now, which is ridiculous. But the thing is that there's so many of them in the States. There's very few of them in Australia. But yeah. Plus, it's supporting stream elements, so fair enough. Stream elements does the I use them for the overlay still, like this chat window and that thingy-majig at the top. That still happens. I have not found a suitable alternative to stream elements yet. At least for minimization of web resources and what have you. So I use them for that. I don't use them for the sponsorships. The second sponsorship opportunity was an energy drink company, or energy supplements. I never heard of this company before, and when I looked up if they were because the thing is I never heard the name before being here in Australia. I double checked their name. It turns out they did exist, but it was expensive as fuck trying to get their stuff here in Australia. And what's more is it's an energy drink. They're competing against Rogue Energy, Gamer Sup, and one or two other brands that are much more recognizable than their brand. And what's more is their brand is non-existent in here. You can't get it from Woolies. You have to basically go to a third-party seller of workout protein or something like that. And it's by the time you're going to there, you're going to go with the established workout protein powders and such, rather than, some sneaky gamer company that's trying to sell you, strawberry daiquiri as a flavor. So, I've never had a sponsorship. What I have had is, I've had an organization that does charities and such. They've approached me, and there was an incentive for if you do these many donations, you can get this, these many donations, you do that. It wasn't Sneak. But yeah, so there was a charity organization that approached me, and the woman that wrote the email and what have you, I was honestly surprised that, one, they approached me, but two, they knew content within my streams because they were observing during a D&D stream with Code the Yoshi and what have you and myself. So that was honestly amazing. That one wasn't I don't think that was a sponsorship. I didn't get paid by them. And as far as I know, I haven't yet gotten their, I could have, I think it was a t-shirt I think I could get because of the number of people that sponsored through me. I didn't get that stuff yet because, once more, they're also an American company. But that was the one time where it was for a charity organization that I believed in. It was about U.S. and NATO-aligned veterans and utilizing video games as either a mix of escapism and just, healthy socialization because other people would be playing video games with them and what have you. So I went with them for that one. I wouldn't know if that's a sponsorship, but the language of the email was sincere, and it wasn't cookie cutter of oh, you, prominent streamer of X name, please join us for this event where you can have up to X amount by doing X entries or something. It was actually sincere marketing and what have you. So there was that. I have not yet had someone like HelloFresh say, "Oh, can you do this one-time thing and put the little thingy in the bottom right for 2 weeks and you get paid X dollars up front or something." I haven't yet had that. Twitch raid etiquette and how to form connections. Okay, two ways. So the Twitch raiding goes in two directions when you are the person initiating a raid. If you raid someone at similar numbers, same category, or at higher numbers, irregardless of category, that is you, looking to grow as a streamer. There is nothing wrong of raiding upwards, especially if they're in the same category as you as well, because what you're doing there is it's a nice way of self-promoting in another person's channel is what raiding is, technically speaking. That's what happens when you're raiding upwards into someone with either larger viewers or larger followers. Is raiding upwards, you are promoting a community that doesn't normally cross into yours, and your community promoted into theirs. I always feel a little desperate raiding anyone larger. That is, look, I'm not saying it feels good all the time. I will be real with you. I'm not raiding into Asmongold or Seadog VA, or sometimes I'm not raiding into Scribbly Noodle because he's just that big of a streamer now after getting the the partner title or into Mixie, for instance. There are people that, even though it might be beneficial in just, shooting your shot and raiding into them, raiding upwards is always in the direction of, I'm looking to grow as a streamer. You're looking to grow your numbers somehow. When you do that kind of raid, either upwards or equal number, stick around for a minute or two. Like, because here's the thing. They are going to ask you a question. They're going to ask you how your stream is, the very least. And they might be nice enough to say, oh, if you need a de-stress or anything like that, go ahead and do that. Stick around for a minute or two. Even if they're a second or a third monitor screen, stick around for a little bit, answer a question or two, answer a question or two, and then ask them a question if you feel like it. And then afterwards, give them a polite little I've got to go now, it's the end of the night, or I've got to go and do this appointment. So that's what happens there. When you stream to lesser numbers, there's nothing wrong with it. I do it a lot of times, and most of the times I'm doing it because I feel like I want to, just share it with a friend and what have you. Commencing virtual hug assault. You don't have to assault. You can just do ! Hug, Wild Saber. There you go. So yeah. So with the Twitch raid etiquette, if you're going down to someone with lower numbers, you're paying it forward is essentially what it is. If you're going into a friend, doesn't really do that much, because more likely than not, if you are friends with this person, it's very likely that your viewers are also aware of them. And so the Venn diagram between me and Code, I'm using Code the Yoshi as another example. The viewership between the two of us is a very close Venn diagram. Many people who know about Code the Yoshi know them either through me, or they know me through Code the Yoshi. That one's just a fun one. That one you can easily raid into them, and then 30 seconds later, you're gone. If you're raiding down into them and they're a friend, you can just disappear. If, however, you're raiding down into them and you haven't met them before, stick around. Again, 2 minutes. It's great for them. They'll have a little boost, and what's more is it kind of, because you're the person who is doing the raid as well, it kind of keeps the people you brought along with you to stick around a little bit more. So yeah. How do you form connections? The best way of forming connections with a raid, unfortunately, is you stick around. But some people, like myself, we raid at the end of stream, and we do it regardless of whether it was a good stream or a bad stream. We will go into another channel, an OVO raid, and it's either going to be up, it's going to be down, or in some direction of viewership, and it's just for a case of keeping people on this platform. Hang on a second. Who the beauty firing arrows? Because Gucci. If you raided before the end of stream, the rest of your stream will be very uneventful. Here's the thing. You can do that. You can raid out and you can just resume recording, or you can stop the stream and start it up again. So then that way the people get the notification and what have you. That one could be done because it's a case of, for example, I streamed an hour before Scribbly Noodle started. If there was someone who just started up streaming and it was a case of, oh, they're one of my moderators, let's go raid into them just to give them a boost in numbers and then start up the stream again. That's an example of raiding into a friend before, or you're properly at the end of your stream. So, but yeah, if you are the recipient of a raid, whether it was upwards or downwards in viewership, not upwards or down, whether it was greater than or less than your viewership, one, give them respect. Acknowledge the raid. Hey, hello, welcome. Give them a little quick, less than 30 seconds explanation of where you're at. And just do the one short question to the streamer, which is, did you have a good time in, X thing that you did? Give them a shout out as well. Do not keep the streamer in your channel. Do not be asking them a string of questions that will keep them in here. If they've raided into you, it is more likely they are at the end of their rope with streaming energy than it is at the start of it. So be sure to give them out of of thank you so much for coming along. My name is X. I'm going through this. Did you have a wonderful time in Y? If you need to go, I will do the best that I can to keep your viewers entertained. So, because this is the most important thing about the Twitch raids. It's about the viewers. If there's a lot of people coming into your stream and they're all sending messages with the raid message, you acknowledge your streamer, you welcome the viewers, and you want to try and find a reason for the viewers to stick around with you. You do not get the viewers just because they raid into you. They're following around with their raider because the streamer put you there. They don't have to stick around. Lord knows I wasn't. So yeah. Also, hi there, Xerix. So yeah. As a recipient, thank the streamer, thank the viewers, welcome them, give the streamer an opportunity to, step away, if they need to de-stress or anything like that. They do not need to stick around with you. Same as the viewers as well, but, that. Art emoji stream assets. Where to get them and what to get. This one was like, this came up during the panel when there was like 4 artist streamers, but if you are in the furry community and you have started doing streaming, there is a lot, like, the furry community is filled with content creators, many of them artists. You are going to know an artist who will do emojis and quote-unquote stream assets. If you do not know anyone that can do emojis or stream assets, don't worry too much about the emojis, because quite frankly, you can't get emojis until you're an affiliate, which requires you having at least 50 followers and an average of 3 viewers per stream after a week. So you need to have at least that. From that point, you will probably figure out which emojis people want to use in your channel, and you can extrapolate from there. So for example, people use the gun emote in my channels, people use the love hearts, people use the lurk, and people use the claps. And then you go by trends, by what other people want. You will spot an artist in the furry community who can do emojis. If you've already done art commissions with someone, you can ask an artist, hey, do you do emojis? Or can you otherwise recommend an emoji artist? Stream assets is a difficult one. Because, first off, what are stream assets? The chat widget is a stream asset. The thingy-majiggy at the top is a stream asset. You know where I got those? It was from all those advertisements you see from Nutty or Stream Scheme, where it's like nerd or die or stream elements. Damn it. Gucci Feline, aka but Kahlua is just being interwebs. All right. Hang on. Sorry. Someone just asked a question in the thingy. Can also just tune back into you. I know a couple of bigger streamers have raid battles where they keep raiding each other. That one's kind of funny, and that's kind of cool. Going over everything that the meetup talk about. These are slides that the meetup featured, and I'm just answering them in my own way. Animated emotes are further down the line after you get affiliate, yeah, or is it part of? No, you can get animated emotes as affiliate as well now. They've doubled it, I believe. So it's like you can get 10 animated emotes. It used to be 5. But yeah, here's the thing. With animated emotes, those are relatively easy. There's like default animations you can apply to your existing emoji. So for example, this arrive emoji, this animated emoji, that is just my hello. That is just a sticker that EmuFur has drawn. Has EmuFur acknowledged that? God damn it, EmuFur. I'm gonna have to message her and be like, hey, acknowledge these emotes. But yeah, that is a default animation in Twitch. So yeah, that goes back to all right, sorry, Kalua sent me another message. But yeah, stream assets, those are the things like the widgets, edges that you see on the side there, or the thingy-majiggy at the top. Those ones I have gone to a website for, which is Nerd or Die, for instance. They're always doing, owned.tv. That's another one as well. That one's done by Sensei. That one gets advertised by Sensei Gaming or something like that. Those two websites, there is regularly going to be a advertisement in some stream schemes or nutty video where you can get like 10 or 20% off, and those are really great. You just go for whatever kind of identity you want with those. If you can't afford them, that's okay. Just use the default shit that you can get for free from Stream Elements. You do not have to spend you do not have to spend before your first paycheck from Twitch, or spend more than the paycheck from Twitch to get assets. You shouldn't have to. Now over to the tough stuff. Oh wait, what did Xerix write? Had some fun in Final Fantasy XIV with some friends. When you get the chance, you got to see my look-alike in Final Fantasy XIV. Wait. You mean someone looks like you in Final Fantasy XIV? Or you've done a Fantasia to look more like, your persona in Final Fantasy XIV? Also, I should probably move this thingy-majiggy over onto the left here, so then that way I can at least see chat while I'm facing forward like this. Alright, over onto the tough stuff. Dink, donk. So I did this poll like 20. Dealing with burnout. Oh yeah. You're gonna deal with burnout. Now, whether this is burnout because of streaming, or burnout from work, or anything in real life, you are going to deal with burnout. Some people have already dealt with this and have their own techniques for dealing with it. Some people have not yet dealt with it, or they have no idea how to deal with it. Burnout comes in many different flavors. It has very different consequences for different people. I was fairly close to this. As I'm autistic, I don't really know my limits that well compared to another person who's been going through burnout. Who just sent me a message? But yeah, so how do you deal with burnout? If you are limiting it to burnout of like, oh, you've been streaming for maybe 1 to 3 years, you are sitting at the same number of viewers, or maybe your viewership has dropped, and you just don't know how to deal with the anxiety, the exhaustion, and just the regular tiredness you feel outside a stream. You're gonna have to stop streaming. Just for a bit. You are going to need, like, if you are burnt out from streaming, you are going to need to at least stop streaming while you are burnt out. If you are not burnt out because of the streaming, you're going to need to find time to have self-reflection. Because you need to figure out why it's happening. You need to be able to, like, you can't just shut down. Unfortunately, like, I feel like for most people, shutting down for like a month is not doable. It's possibly not healthy as well, in like a professional manner, I'm gonna say, but who knows? I just know most people can't, just shut down everything in their life for about a month. But yeah, if it comes from streaming, you're gonna need to stop streaming for a little bit, quite frankly. You're gonna need to, like, just sort of stop what you're doing with streaming and just sort of ask yourself, okay, why did I get into this? Why am I frustrated with it? Why am I worried? You're gonna need to, like, just take a step back from that, come to terms with where you are with streaming, and then just take a few days. Clear your mind. Just stop thinking about it for a bit. Let your viewers know you're taking a bit of a break, and just unwind. Don't worry about the next stream that's going off within the week. Don't wonder what you're going to be playing next. Don't worry about whether the emojis or the algorithm is going to, like, suit you and what have you. Because guess what? If you go beyond your burnout, you are probably going to just ruin more than just your stream schedule. It sucks. Burnout sucks, and unfortunately, there is no right answer for everyone applicable. So long as we get new streamers, new affiliates, and new partners coming in year on year, there is going to be different answers and different reasons for why burnout happens. I do not have the solution. I think I got close to burnout, and I just ended up not streaming for like 2 weeks. I just was like, look, stuff's going on. I need to figure this out. I put myself on a break, and I didn't stream for like 2 weeks, either last year or the beginning of this. No, not the beginning of this year. I haven't yet taken a long break. I stopped streaming for like 2 weeks. I didn't have something going off in my life, like going up to the United States or going to a furry panel to like warrant needing to be offline for 2 weeks, but that's essentially what I did. Panel had different answers, and that's fine because there is no one consistent answer for dealing with burnout. How do the numbers impact you? How the numbers impact you when this forms part of your income? Ooh. Okay. This one's a jumbled mess. So, cuz here it's two things. It's number one, like it's vague. First and foremost, what numbers are you talking about? Are you talking about your average viewers? Are you talking about your current follower count? Are you talking about your subscribers? Are you talking about the actual money coming to you month on month? Like, I think the way that they were asking this is, oh, how do you interpret Twitch analytics? Most people don't know how to interpret Twitch analytics. Some people can opt to not needing to learn it. I'm on the side of I kind of want to learn it. But the numbers do not affect, like, the numbers should not impact you during stream. In the hour, 3, 6, 12, 24 hours that you are streaming, however long you stream, you do not think about the numbers. You do not think about how many people are subscribed to you at this moment. You do not think about how many people are watching you in this moment. You do not think about how often advertisements are running and the amount of sense you're about to get from it. You stream. You respond to your viewers. You say thank you for the subs. You say sorry for the advertisements, but you do not look at the numbers during streaming. The numbers are for your data analytics. Sorry, data analytics. The numbers are for when you're not streaming. The reason why they give you a stream summary an hour after stream is because they're trying to get the numbers right, and it's also so then that way you're not in streamer mode when you're looking at them. So, the way numbers impact me, for instance, is the number of subscribers I currently have. That informs me my Twitch goal. I have never touched this Twitch sub goal after I set it to 100, like, to 100 subs or something like that. I haven't set it to 100 new subs. I just set it to a flat 100 because I put it down at that number because I was like, it's the first of the big round numbers, and it's a guarantee at that point that I'm gonna get paid that month. Back when the minimum was like you needed like I think $100 to get paid by Twitch US, but now they've lowered it where you need a minimum 50 US to get paid, which, you know, that I've benefited from that. They've made it a flat $5 rate to get paid, but beyond that, it's meant that I've been paid pretty much every month by Twitch, which I very much am enjoying. So, and because it's a minimum $50, I get to that goal a lot easier. So, The Twitch sub explains to me how many, people are subscribed to me and how it influences sub goals, for instance. So the next time I want to do either a sub goal event or an anniversary, I know there's like, 20 or so people who are subscribed to me right now. And the highest I've ever gotten is like 47 or 50, which means that I need to figure out what my incentives are for someone gifting me a sub for when we reach 5 gifted subs and 20 gifted subs. I can start putting in possible goals when it gets beyond 100 gift subs, but realistically, if I want to do something interesting and I want to present it to viewers, put it within the achievable goals of like 5, 10, 15, 20. Looking at numbers during it can alter how the person feels about it, which can result in a streamer to potentially feel like they're not doing a good enough job, yeah? That is exactly it. This wasn't a piece of advice that they gave on the panel, and I'm honestly surprised that someone raised their hand when they said that they still looked at the numbers. But turn off your live viewer count. You don't need to look at that number. You don't need to be influenced by how many people are watching you at one time. Because you know what? That number is not accurate. It doesn't tell you the difference between those who are watching you and those who are listening to you. It doesn't tell you the difference of those that are actively contributing into your chat and those that are just simply watching you on the second or third monitor. It is not an accurate representation of engagement. It is the only number that can be presented to you live by Twitch just because they can. There is no benefit for you knowing how many people are viewing you at one time unless you have an ego. If you have to actually look at the numbers, that's to make a point about something about your viewers at this point, which can be seen as egotistical. An ego moment? Me looking at the viewership numbers, seeing that it's 14 people. That is a lot of people. That is more people that can fit in a living room. That is about half a classroom of people. God damn, half a classroom of people are listening to me give a very shitty lecture. But yeah, that's the only time you should ever be, consciously aware of the number of viewers that are watching you. You should never, worry every 15, 30 minutes to an hour of, oh, how many people are watching me? Oh, we've dropped by 5 viewers. Oh, we've gained by 10. It's like, no. Don't focus on that shit. Doesn't count those who don't get rid of the raid part, right? So if someone does raid and shit and they leave, the number does get reflected in like 2 to 5 minutes. But again, you don't look at the numbers. You don't look at that while you're streaming. Those numbers are only useful to you after stream. So, for example, let's say I did something completely different this stream. Like, let's say I played a huge multiplayer game that is one of the top viewed categories on Twitch, and I wanted to see how did that affect my numbers. That should be something I look at after stream. That informs me on whether or not it's worth exploring, categories for number chasing, or maybe a category that I'm actually interested in taking part in regardless of because I'm interested in it. So the reason why I go through existing canon of video games rather than chasing down new games is because, one, I already have the video games available. I don't have to spend money on it. But then 2, when I've looked at the numbers on Twitch after streaming for a week or a month, I've noticed I have had better success playing video games people have already played or are like several years old than playing the newest one. I have grown as a streamer when I'm playing games people are a fan of. If they're a fan, some people have come on here, like the 2 big moments were when I was going through Titan Quest. So many people caught on to me when I was playing that, and when I was going through the Kingdom Hearts series. And I was doing that, it was only Kingdom Hearts for like 6 months or something like that. Those are the 2 times people have come onto my stream, and I've grown as a streamer. Because I was going, and that was my journey, and that was because of me reviewing the numbers after streaming. So that's how you review the numbers, is they do not inform you in the short term for streaming. They inform you in the long term when you're playing the data analyst role. When you have the DA hat on, that is the only time you look at the numbers, and it's from there that, you know, you have it going into like a little bit about your income. But again, do not focus on this while in the middle of streaming. It's not healthy and it's distracting. Does the furry Twitch have a problem with parasociality? Yes, they do. Here's the thing. Twitch has a problem with parasociality, and it is indicative on the system. Because here's the thing. You have to stream to a minimum of 3 people when you start, and you have to do that for at least a week. You are streaming to your friends, basically. You are streaming to friends and family when you get started. And then when you become affiliate, there is now a monetary reason for you to continue streaming. And you might be interested in, you know, announcing on Twitter or in your different telegrams and discords of, hey, I'm streaming, I'm playing this game. Slowly, you will go from 3 viewers to 5, maybe 9, 10, 20, 100. Like, your viewership will grow, but it has started from very close friends that you've had to communicate with them that you have started streaming. And during the transitionary period between starting out streaming and becoming, you know, a professional streamer, you have had to evolve from I'm streaming to friends to I'm streaming to people. So there's a little bit of a social problem there where during this transitionary period, me as a streamer, I'm going to have a moment where I'm going to confuse a viewer for a friend. And at the other side, a viewer is going to confuse me for a friend. Now, just pure numbers-wise, there's going to be way more people watching me than me, you know, communicating with people. So there's going to be way more instances of viewers looking to a streamer and thinking of me as their friend or some very close companion to them because maybe I streamed that one time, I acknowledged them, I had a conversation, I was able to do what I was doing on stream, and it pulled them out of a dark place. That is an amazing moment. That is honestly a crazy feeling, being able to stream to someone and, you know, have them do better. It's an empathetic moment. It is a crazy feeling. But there will also be times where people will cross the line, either by, you know, imposing some sort of relationship of like, oh, your persona and my persona would be such great partners, or hee, I like how small you are compared to my persona. It's very cute. We should be a couple. Or, haha, it would be funny if you and I were in a relationship like this sitcom insinuated. Like, there will be times that line is crossed. And that's something that can exist either on a Twitch side or the furry side. And it's just unfortunate that when you put those two together, furry side and Twitch side, the problem compounds. One part because it's Twitch, and the other part because furries have other kinds of social problems. I can't really go through all the social problems that furries have, but just to answer this question, does furry Twitch have a problem with parasociality? Yes. And I would argue that because it's those two communities combining into one in the Venn diagram, it's more problematic than most Twitch platforms, or most Twitch circles. That very first one, that hit a horrible nail on the head. Yeah. Because that's the thing, it's like, when you're presenting as a furry, you are presenting as a idealized version of yourself, and depending on which circles you've been in, such as for myself, when I first started with ERP and such, there are some very sexualized people. So yeah. There's an I'm going to pause that advertisement as we go into the chaser. So apparently this is going to be the easier stuff. VTubing software and my current favorite tech for streaming. Okay, my favorite tech, and this is, like, this isn't unique to me, I will be real with you, but my favorite piece of tech is the Stream Deck. Being able to zoom in like this and move into other places, like going up to the chat, going back to zooming out, going back to zooming in, putting me in a pixelated form, turning me grayscale, zooming back out into chat, zooming into me, zooming into where the TTS bot would be, hiding the TTS bot, zooming back to me and zooming out, that is all done via buttons on the Stream Deck. I know some people only use the Stream Deck as like a, oh, let's, do a multi-action, or let's play a sound, like doing, let me get some sounds playing, okay? So like maybe they'll do a,
Bonk!
like some people might just run those kinds of silly sounds. Hey, Doran, I'm speaking here. Some people might just use the Stream Deck as like just a soundboard, but if you are a 2D or 3D VTuber, I honestly implore you to look into, one, WebSockets, so then that way you can do WebSocket nonsense to OBS, and running like different filters on and off, because this is honestly amazing shit to do. That's my favorite piece of tech for streaming, is the Stream Deck, because it allows me to run really quickly some of these effects. My VTubing software is currently an amalgamation of VSeeFace for the face tracking, because as I said at the beginning of the stream with Morse Amalgam, VSeeFace has the best application of webcam tracking than any other software I've seen before. And right now I'm using it because it's tracking my face and a little bit of my body. It's tracking the leap motion, and it's tracking the iPhone web, like the ARKit stuff. All that tracking information then goes into Vignon. Vignon is the one that is responsible for doing all the, source visibilities and like, the different effects as you see here. They're responsible for that. And at one point, I know it's possible you can have all the tracking being done via Vignon, and it might be like better on my resources if I could do it that way. But right now, I don't know how to do it, to the same level of quality that you see before you. Like in Vignon, I can't move my head this much. It does at most bink and donk. It doesn't do that much head tracking, and the hand tracking isn't great. The thumbs up is not perfect, but apparently that's something that could be changed with the armature. What's the next question? Your best streaming story. I don't have a streaming story to share. I honestly don't. I don't have a good streaming story. I have not yet got... Maybe this is like one of those issues of perfection, but I have not yet had a streaming experience that I feel like sharing over and over and over again as an exemplar of, like, what I'm doing. Hang on a sec. Sorry, someone was messaging me recently from a response I made. Cookie for Jason. But yeah, I don't yet have that, best streaming story right now, because honestly, it's either going to be something very vague that is just applicable to whenever, such as the Super Smash Bros. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate stream that I did like earlier this year. It's either going to be that, or it's going to be the times that I've streamed with Code or with Sashera. There has not yet been, like, a best for me. And that's just because I'm one of those kinds of people where best means that there's only one. Okay? I'm one of those people that says if you have a best friend, it means you have only one best friend. I'm not one of those people that are like, oh, I have 3 best friends. No. You can have 3 great friends, but you can't have 3 best friends, okay? It dilutes the bestness of the best, okay? The best is 1. All right, what's the last chaser question before the advertisement goes off in 2 minutes? Wait, did I miss it? Oh, it is literally just those 2 questions. Thanks for being here. Nice. Okay, so we got through that PowerPoint in 47 minutes. God damn it. It took us like 3/4 of an hour to get through that. And there was like 6 people at this panel trying to answer this. God damn. Yay, I got my shirt back. I was thinking of a different type of chaser after the last part. Chaser is literally just a, oh, here's a quick thingy-majiggy to... You were probably thinking of like a shot glass or something like that, weren't you? So, yeah. Alrighty, where am I in my train of thought? I kind of want to go to the bathroom really quick. There's an advertisement that's got to go off in like a minute and a half. I might have it run ahead of time, since there is no more like pre-roll ad and what have you. So, actually, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to run the BRB, and I'm going to run an advertisement for 3 minutes, alright? So you're going to have to make do with that while I run to the bathroom. And then we transfer... Is it going to let me run the 3? Yes, it does. Excellent, sorry. Be right back. Hide this thing. Back over here. Alrighty, there we go. So, yeah. Oh, no, wait. Look at that rainbow. Isn't that fantastic? Alright. Fabupona. Hi. This bear that you drew for the pecan bear is absolutely adorable, and I love it. My particular fave is the style of the coat you've chosen and the 2-color tone. Like, beautiful, it's wholesome, and I love it. Shut up! Do we have car keys?
No, I don't think we do. I'm gonna place the camera.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And...
Tango! Darn it.
Damn it, I would win.
Oh!
Shit.
Oh! Careful, they got the shield, so like they just need... Oh!
I win.
Yes! Nice work! Can you pick up my card and revive me, please? You can leave the medallion there, so then that way it doesn't, like, fall you and such like that for now. Yes! Ah! Oh, thank you, Cap.
Like I said, I'd win.
Oh shit, Peter Griffin!
Someone clip that! Someone please clip that. That moment of Cap, of like, just, congratulations, Cap, and Cap is just like, nah, I'd win. And then Peter Griffin.
How do I click?
Oh my god.
Y'all just gonna let Icy live?
No. That system. I think everyone was like really close, only because... Rudy, stop it! ...250 kilometers in any German vehicle, 20 air skills in any Volkswagen buggy, drag race in a German super saloon, any German vehicle. Why? I'm just so broken.
Yeah, you can't spell nutrition without nut, am I right?
Ow.
Pull the lever.
Wait, this isn't simple and clean. What fucking intro is this? I thought every game opened with simple and clean. Everything we're seeing just there should just be simple and clean. Could you give me Too many things. Maybe. Like, what's my username on Twitter? It's Grant Zeebs. What's my username on Telegram? Grant Zeebs. What's my username on Discord? Grant Zeebs. What's my username on Twitch? Grant Zeebs. What's my username on YouTube? Well, YouTube is technically using a Google account in order to do that kind of nonsense, and I can't have a direct link to YouTube, but lo and behold, Grant Zeebs. Alright. I'm back.
I, Grant Seebs, love
just,
being
you know,
put
just
in a
my
cute
down the
maid
bottoms.
outfit and love.
And slip the clip back on. Hi there, Masonic. Welcome to the stream. I was in the middle of chatting and what have you while that was happening. Don't say it, Grant. Alright, hide that scene. There we go. But yeah, welcome back. Alright, so let's see. Did anyone answer my question about do you have the one best friend? Doesn't look like it. Alrighty. But yeah, was glad I was able to get through that panel in like 45 minutes. I definitely went on a tangent or two within that, but I reckon I did an okay job. God, I have no money in my bank account now. I don't get paid till tomorrow. This is stressful. Gosh darn it. Who did this? Who did this? Someone just posted a piece of art in my Grant Zeebs Discord. By the by, I have a Discord, if you weren't aware. Someone posted in my Grant Zeebs and they said, "Made Zeebs art, please frame." Like, first and foremost, I'm missing eyebrows and I don't have my cool mohawk. But you know what? Let me just get it off the Discord and present it to you, okay? Just so people know, this is what you're going to have to beat. Oh, no, we can't make it a web link because the web link does not know how to interpret a 1920 by 1080 thing. So we're going to have to download the image first and then slap it on the top like this. Yeah, Xerix, read them and weep. This is the fan art that I get in my Discord. Also, that's not even my eye color. That's not even my eye color. I've gone for blue. Thank you very much. Just like my color, just like my eye color in real life, I'm more of a blue-eyed zebra. Popcat worked really hard on it. I appreciate it, but you got a ways to go, I'm sorry to say. Maybe you can put it on your fridge. Maybe your Fursona can put it on their fridge, but for now, Popcat, this is not going on the wall. Blue eyes, white zebra. Oh my goodness, I never made that connection before, Code. Hi there, Code. Welcome to the stream. This is the fan art I get, Code. It's either not safe for work, in which case you don't get to see it on stream, or it's a zebra with no eyebrows, green eyes, and no mohawk. This could be an entirely different zebra/horse. I appreciate the work you do, Popcat, but it is not going on the wall. And a face on the... Wait, there was a face on the snout? Oh yeah, there was. It was that's a smiley face. Lots of yours have been not safe for work. I believe that. I remember Freckles giving me a not safe for work thingy madiggies. So yeah, so that's what I got. Oh, and Xerix, I just saw in the video games channel, sorry, I'm just like looking at my alerts and what have you. Who in the world is this? Someone new in my thingy-madiggies. Oh, this person streams as well. Okay, nice. and conjurers. What are they doing in my... Nah, who knows. Probably some other reason. Hi there, Atomica. Welcome to the stream. Hopefully you're doing all right. So yeah, I just went through... In the last 2 hours, Code, I have gone on tangents left and right. I talked about, like, my new overlay. So we have this one for when there isn't a video game running or anything like that. I have done a slight modification to the just chatting overlay by having it just replicate the web assets from the the playing stage. There has not been that much change to it. I reckon in the last... What time is it? 8 o'clock? Alright. In the last hour, how about we do a little bit of Yakuza? Let's do a tiny wee little bit of Yakuza. Yakuza 2 Kiwami. We're gonna go through a little bit of that, because I think I'm in the last 3 chapters. And I'm going to need to, No, not Magic the Gathering Arena. I don't want to do a card game. I don't want to get in... Plus, I need to download Magic Arena again, is what I would have to do. Also, what's up with my hands?
Pull the lever.
Why do you pull the lever? Is the game gonna present? Hang on. Yep, it does. Excellent. Connecting. Up, and apparently it wants to do an overlay thing. That's a rage game, if anything. Magic the Gathering is not a rage game, okay?
Ooh.
It is not a rage game. Also, I couldn't see my mouse. Magic the Gathering is not a rage game. It's just a card game, okay? Don't be ridiculous. Also, I need to stop the music in the background, because otherwise it's just gonna be rustling my jimmies, because I can hear it. There we go. All right. Hello, game. There we go. All right, we need to get back to Kamurocho. Well, technically we're in Kamurocho, and we've got good old Haruka with us. The Purgatory Casino. Why do you want to go to the... Why? Alright, if we go to the casino... I've been doing Haruku's requests and such, because I want to unlock all her different things. So, hang on a second. We should be able to get to Purgatory from there. When the opponent gets every card they need and you still haven't gotten your 3rd land. Okay, that can be a little bit rage-inducing, but that can also be a case of bad planning. So, alrighty, hang on a sec, I gotta... Let's see, what does she want in this purgatory thing? Can you take me to the purgatory? I know it's scary, but I'll be fine with you. There, with me, with you. Alright, so we're here. Why do you want to be here? Yeah, we're here. Do you want to, like, sort of explain what you want me to do while I am here? You're about to nap for a bit? Not to worry, Torin the Dragon. Thank you so much for the follow. Wait, did you follow me, or...? No, you just took my shirt. Thank you so much for coming in. Oh, is it because you want me to play a card game or something? There we go. Alrighty. Is it hard to win 800 trips in blackjack? I'm sure it's a piece of cake for you. Let's go for low rate first. Yep, sure. You's also in the Discords as well. Ah, yeah, you recently joined that, so thank you. You want to take a moment to appreciate the way she let go of your hand when you start running, then takes it away when she catches up? Yeah. It's great. Alright. Confirming, up, left, down. Alright, cool. I know how to play Jack. Must stand on 17 and must draw to 16. It's 3, 2, 1. Alright, bet. Let's start with 10. Damn it. The likelihood of me once I'm in the teens is obviously really low. Good to know. Alright. Keep playing. Let's go with another 10. It's your turn. What would you like to do? Stand. Yeah, alright, cool. Now I see how this works. Keep playing. Bet. Let's go double. Ooh, 8's not a... Oh, that's even worse! Fuck it, let's double the bet and draw another card. Damn it. There is a card game for everyone. It's called Magic the Gathering. Yeah, that's alright. Let's see. Aw, dealer would have bust as well. God damn it. Alright, dealer's on a 9. I'm on an ace and a 4. Stand. So he's on 12. That is bullshit. Alright, so 7. We're on queen and 4. Hit. Ah, shame. But yeah, I do love how Haruka is able to hold our hand during these sequences. It's great. Alright. Let's just go for the maximum bet of 100. Oh, I'm keeping that hand. I'm just gonna stand. Like, split your pair into 2 separate hands, each the value of your original bet. Oh, no, just stand. The likelihood of him besting... Yeah, it's not happening. You're gonna bust, or you're going to... Yep. There we go. Alright, let's get out of here. Let's go to a higher stakes table. Let's just... What do you mean, not my lucky... Oh, you want me to win it, like, across a table? Is that it? Alright, fine. We'll do the blackjack across... Like, alright. High rate. Yeah, sure. Insurance is 2 to 1. Blackjack plays 3 to 2. Alright. Let's just... Oh yeah, we've got these things. You only get blackjacks. That is kind of hilarious! Are you kidding me?
Blackjack.
Blackjack. Okay, warning, if you ever try to alter the odds of you gambling in blackjack in real life, you're gonna get kicked out of the casino and never be able to play blackjack again. This is not how you win at blackjack in real life. Do not gamble. Absolutely gaming that system. And Haruku thinks I'm amazing for doing that. Oh, wonderful. Alright, we're gonna get out of here. The casino can't stop me activating my ancient amulet. I'm honestly surprised the amulet it was able to just be just that simple. All right. New tournament. We're gonna go for Inferno. Let's see how I do. My God, Kiryu, you're 38? Damn. You're doing well for someone in their late 30s. Nice try. Ragdolls at that moment. Alrighty. The Brazilian Supernova. Alrighty. Does he have an axe on him? Yes, he does. This is bullshit. Alright, here we go.
Come on.
Yeah! He sets an unrealistic standard for 38-year-olds. He does. All the men in video games set an unrealistic standard for men, unfortunately. I'm doing very well, Sage. Thank you very much. There we go. Got it. My victory. I'm trying to, like, go for... Because there's apparently a particular match I'm supposed to be going for in this tournament's, like, thing. Oh my God, the walls are electrified. Oh. Thank Christ I was able to counter that. But that was one of the easy guys, unfortunately. Not this guy. Hi there, Dark Raven. Kiryu-chan. It is Kiryu. Hey, nice. We were able to electrocute him. Do not get hit by the electricity. Ow! Get back up, get back up. Got him. How's it going, Dark Raven? How are things? Things are good. I just went through like a 2-hour-long gesture. Oh, I actually need to update my categories, actually. Hang on a second, hang on a second. Nope. Just pause. Let me... There we go. I need to update my category for Yakuza Kiwami 2, sorry. There we go. Alrighty then. Ow. There we go. How was I not able to defend against that? Ow, or that. Ow. Such a strong electrocution there, and I get my win. I did not get to go up another rank because of that. Okay, so the talent producer, Max, Satoshi, Red Destructor, the Brazilian Supernova, the Patriarch of the Yamazaki. Yep, Yamazaki. Iron Pipe Preacher, Fist Fight Fanatic, Soul Crusher, the Underdog Killer, the Street Fighter. A free-for-all between 8 fighters, only the last man standing will win. Stop and stare in horror as random weapons rain down in the arena. Holy shit! Alright, let's see how we go. Enjoy Duragard as well? Thank you! I'm guessing you're checking out all the different Discords we have. I would love memes if you have them. Oh my god, there's so many. Let me just, like, back away. Is this gonna be an actual free-for-all, or is this a... One, two, three. Okay, that's not how you use a lighter, but sure. Oh! I had not seen that before with the hot iron, so that was something. Sure, you can deal with good old Davy boy over there. Got him. Is this the Iron Man sequel you've been hearing of? Probably not this one. This might be a Shang-Chi sequel, but who knows. We are now rank B. The Carnage Tournament. A veritable one-on-one bloodfest. Win by beating 3 opponents in a row. Consists of dangerous fighters with deadly combat skills. Use of weapons and gear is provided. Or is allowed, I should say. Alright, is there... There's still this, like... Hang on. Stories. Beat Genso Kawachi in the thingy-majiggy. Alrighty, so that's where he needs to be. I also need to upgrade some things. I do... Oh, hang on a sec. Paralysis resistance. Essence of hot sauce. Switch hitter. Alright, so we grab our baseball bat, and bam. Cool. Sign sweeper, essence of noodles. So that's all the essence nonsense. None of those are purchasable. None of those are purchasable.
Cool.
Alrighty, so now I'm full up. Now we enter. You gotta go for dinner. Have a great night the rest of the stream. Not to worry. Thank you so much for joining, Jason. I'm gonna go with this Carnage tournament to deal with those 3 peeps. The dude you're trying to find in the side story must pop up at some point. There we go. I was just button mashing in that moment, I'm gonna be real with you. Alright, next is the assassin. Come on. Tyrant of Taekwondo, Cole Su Kwan. Never met you before. There we go. Damn it. There we go. Got him. I'm doing well at this. Oh, I missed Sage's message of you thought it was just raining men all of a sudden. Nah, it's not. Satoshi Kojima, once again, I have to deal with you and your fucking grapples. That didn't really do a lot, but... There we go. Wait, am I supposed to, like, hit and then hold Y on the next? Maybe that's what I'm supposed to do. Either way, won that tournament. Got a payback ring for it as well. Cataclysm. Win by beating 3 opponents in a row. Consists of use of weapons and gear is prohibited. Yep, that's right. Alright, cool. Yep. Boxing, legend, and wrestling. Alright, let's try those 3 again. Underdog for the boxing. God damn, he hits hard. Alright, got you out of the way. Next up. There we go. And our wrestler is... Hirozaki Tenzan, the Fierce Bull. I have not met you before. Fuck it. There we go. And suckered him. Did it. Alright, that's none of the people we needed to fight. First tournament completed. That's every... Boxing, Street Fighter, and Wrestling. Wrestling, Karate. Wrestling, Legend, and Fighter. Legend, Baseball, Ferocious. That's the Shockwave. And then this is the Insane, which is a free-for-all between, like, me and 7 other peeps, which... Yeah, I still have not bumped into the person they're talking about. Pasta on Nakamichi Street, close to Club Sega. Alrighty then, that is our next place that we're going. Meow. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Once we're out of the Purgatory place, then we're just gonna go as a walk. Alright, am I missing anything? You coming? Hopefully shoot. Through here. Out of the men's bathroom. Alright, so. Namikaze Street near the Club Sega. So that's Smile Burger. What are they talking about? Like, oop. I hate how the thingy... This! See? It just... Let's see if it will do it again. Can't a grown man take his niece through a concession site unharassed? Who knows? Alright. I don't think it's... Is it Ringer Hut? It wouldn't be, would it? Alright, hang on a sec. Let's have another chat with her when she pops out of the thing. Here we are getting harassed by... There we go. Alright, so where do you want to go? Nakamichi Street. This is Nakamichi Street. Oh, this is Club Sega. Okay, so we want to head to the Club Alps then, is where we need to go. Alright. Alright, you want to hold my hand? Haruku? Yeah! Out of the way, I have a daughter. Alright, fine, you let go, we're running. Also, fuck this driver. We're getting pasta. I remember there was this TikTok a while. Oh, hang on. Man in a gold suit? That means money. We get money from this guy. See, look at that. $50,000. Alright. Pasta time. Where was I? Oh yeah, the TikTok. So, there was a TikTok a while ago that I thought was kind of funny, which is when, like, the mom or something like that is, like, gonna be ready to go into a car or something like that, and the younger brother and the older brother are like, oh, they get a decision about dinner, and the older brother is like, brother, a momentous occasion is on our hand. They speak in this, like, oldie Game of Thrones fashion of, like the fates have smiled upon us. The matriarchy of the household is gonna allow us to have whatever food we want. The best option is clearly McDonald's for cost and economy. And the younger brother is like, I want Olive Garden. And he's like, brother, no, that is ridiculous. He's like, then we will ask separately. And he's like, no, because if we do that, we won't get any of those, and we will just have leftovers for the 5th night in a row. And he's like, think about it, brother. Breadsticks, infinite breadsticks at Olive Garden. And he's like, this is madness. You fly too close to the sun with this option. And it's like, it's just so hilarious. And it's just so great because it's like, oh yeah, there's like all this lore where it's like the father is only the son of like the older brother or something like that, not the younger one. And it's this thing of like, you know, oh, the older brother is just sort of like, what happened to the man we know in the past who had daring feats? And he's like, watch your tongue, boy. I have lost many battles to be where I am. So yeah, it was... Alright, hang on. I need a... Time to fight some hooligans. Ow! Who the fuck is... Fuck you. There we go. Holding against you near the Wee Shikafuko Street. Alright. What would you like to have? Napolitan. Alrighty, we are going to get some Napolitan. Oh, would you look at that? I have not ordered the Napolitan yet. There we go. Alrighty. This is what the remainder of the stream is going to be for like the next 30 to 20 minutes. It's just me completing requests for Haruku and going through some of the side quests that pop up here and there. Oop, hello? Do we have an option? Do you have a request? No? Oh, another gold-suited man. Please don't try this hack IRL. Beating up people in gold suits will not end well. Yeah, I know. Alright. We're just taking their money, okay? We're not killing them or anything. Oh, we need to go talk to a contra. Oh, actually, hang on. What's your next request? What? My goodness. First she wanted us to go gambling in the underground purgatory. Then we go to eat some pasta. And now she wants to go to a homeless hut to play card games. Her requests are unreasonable some days. She's my niece, apparently. Wait, did I... Yep, okay, I've not yet gotten to the place I needed to go. How long are those people gonna follow me? Oh, hello. Why is he on the ground? What's going on here? Can't you see we're busy? This is none of your business. It is, actually. I need that guy to be healthy enough to do some labor. Alrighty. And another swift kick to the nuts. She is not a good influence on me. I have not gone into gambling until she decided to tell me to go into gambling. Why did you use a turn on us? After what with you last time, as I was time to turn over new leaf, live clean. My Yakuza friends weren't too happy with my newfound morals. Anyway, I'm so glad you showed up when you did. What was it you needed rebuilt? A playground. But Sunflower doesn't have much of a budget. Can you find a way to make it work? I should be able to write off the labor as a donation. And don't worry, I won't charge a yen more than I say. I'm running this company legit now. Glad to hear it. Looking forward to the finished thing. Yep, she still wants to go to the abandoned building with all the homeless people to play a card game, apparently. The things I do for my niece. Ridiculous. Alright, now I'm pretty sure the abandoned building she's talking about is there. So...
Oi. Oh.
Oh, I don't know about... He waited until now to text me, though, and the interview is new. We need a minimum of 4. He left you guys out in a bind. Fighting won't solve anything. Okay, so we need to do a mock interview. Huh. Let's help him out real quickly. Thank you for the Hyper Himbo, Sir Dragon. Katayama. So Katayama is the other guy.
Glug, glub, glug,
Mizuguchi.
glub, glug.
Okay, so Katayama is the guy with the glasses. Meisawa is the other guy, and Mizuguchi is the girl that lost her charm. How dare you steal my shirt? Are you sure about this? This guy, well, he's old. Alright. Alrighty then. So, we have a job interview to attend. Thank you all for coming today. Let's begin the interview. As this is a group interview, we'll have each of you take a turn to tell us about yourselves. Shall we begin? We'll start with introductions. I'm Takuma Meisawa. Chika Mizuguchi. Toshiki Takayama. Kiryu. Kazuma Kiryu. We're all very excited to be here, sir. It's nice to meet you. Wonderful. An energetic greeting is a positive first impression for any potential employer.
Send you to Jesus myself.
Now then, let's hear a little about your strengths, but don't get too carried away or you'll sound like you're bragging. Why don't you start us off? Meisawa.
Hi.
Spent a lot of time in college playing futsal. It's basically 5-on-5 indoor soccer on a smaller field. I was so good that they made me captain of the team and we went on to play second in a city-wide tournament. Being a team player is important. Meisawa has when he's playing futsal. He really helped people get along. Man, this is kind of easy. I wouldn't even know Kata introduced us. Great point. He's so good at connecting people and making sure they get along. I look forward to utilizing these skills in a more professional environment. That's it for me. Great.
Hi.
My best asset is my cooking, for sure. Hi there, Jack! Oh my goodness, I know who that is. It's the first time they're here, but I know who you are. Also, thank you for the follow. I greatly appreciate it. Please ignore the fact I'm not wearing a shirt. Normally, I would be dressed like this. But unfortunately, someone stole my shirt, so it's like this. Huh. Alright, there we go. Oh, hang on. Someone's doing a fishing game. Why the hell am I not following yet? I don't know. Maybe it was because of the... Maybe because I was bold for a period of time. Maybe it's because of the giant fat titties. It could be a number of reasons. You know I don't look like this in real life, so... Best asset is cooking, for sure. Nobody can top my signature potato salad. Mm-hmm. Not to be rude, but how exactly do you plan to apply that to a workplace? It shows she's a diligent worker. If Ms. can learn to perfect a recipe, she can do the same at her job. Constantly have to multitask when you cook. Yep, cool. Nice! What do you mean? You look great either way. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Hopefully... Do you still stream? This is an important question. Do you still stream? You missed out on a lot on this stream. Don't get me wrong, though. Like, we're approaching, like, near the end of the stream as well, so I'm just, like, fucking about with side quests in Yakuza Kiwami 2 before I play it again on Wednesday night. Went on a soul-searching trip to India. It was... It's good to experience other cultures. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
By the field. That's a future-proof industry. Uh-huh. Pretty big on the academic world. I got pretty frustrated about it at times. Push through. Finally reaching my goal. Show me the value of tenacity, as they say. Perseverance pays dividends. That's a great workplace attitude. Oh, this is such an easy interview.
Hey.
I recently had to spend some time in the real world. What was your previous occupation? I used to be in real estate. You managed the entire firm, recruited staff, structured my team, delegated assignments, all to compete against 5 evil billionaires. Why don't you tell us where you see yourself in the next 5 or 10 years? Dead. He would see himself dead. He has cancer, I'm pretty sure. Thinking of starting an orphanage. Helping those who can't help themselves has always been one of my strong suits. Thank you for having us. Cool, and we aced that interview. Not too often, but on random occasions, really. Noted. Noted, 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 noted. That brings our... Hope you enjoyed the time that you stream, though, Jack. Hopefully it goes well. We did it! Alright, cool. Skip this. This is just congratulatories. Alright, do you... So yeah, we're trying to do the requests for Haruku, and she has some crazy ones like this one. Going to a homeless shelter, like, you know, an abandoned building filled with homeless people, and playing card games with them. Like, I don't know about you, but that sounds a bit dramatic. Like, do you think you would want to go to an abandoned building to play some Magic the Gathering with some homeless people? It feels a bit extreme, going to like a random nondescript building and playing card games with complete strangers. Alrighty. to the 4th floor, I think was where we want to go.
Oi.
Long time no see, champ. I'm gonna need yakiniku bento. Give him the yakiniku.
Nani?
There we go. Give him some food. And he's what do you want? No stabbing and shooting. Oh, okay, so we're just fighting this guy? Easy. Let's do it. The abandoned building near me is not card game playable areas. You need at least a table, and a good one at that, to do it. Did it. I defeated him. The card game is not going to be Yu-Gi-Oh! Morse. The card game is going to be gambling or some shit. Alright, so we've now gotten more primers from him. And Jack, I'm sorry, but you should not be going to abandoned buildings just to play card games. The abandoned buildings near you are equipped with holographic projectors? Aha. Do you live in Battle City or something? Ocho Baku, you down? No, I don't know how to fucking play that. Think you can get over 500 points in Koi Koi? Alrighty then. We gotta play Koi Koi. Okay, this game is played with a Hanafuda deck. You matching a card in your hand with one of the table allows you to take that card. The object of the game is to form special card combinations and outscore your opponent. There are 12 card suits, January to December. Each consists of 4 cards. Place 1 card from your hand on the table. If there's another card of the same suite, you get the pair. If there are no other cards of the same type on the table, your card stays on the table. Koi is when the hand continues and you try to form more combinations. If I don't call Koi, the hand ends and you get the points for the card combination you hold. Okay. 1 point for any 10 junk cards, with each additional junk card added another point. Poetry ribbon, all 5 poetry ribbons with each additional poetry added point. Variety. How do I get 800 points? 4 of a kind and 4 pairs. All 4 20-point cards except Rain Man. Holy shit. Alright, let's give it a try. Oh, I need points. Okay. Can I get some points? Let's just go for 1,000. So I need to get, what was it, 500 points? Or 200 points? 500 points in Koi Koi. Okay. You just bring meals and bags if anyone lived in abandoned buildings. Nice. With that charitable nature, Jack, do you think you could help me play Koi Koi? Let's just go with beginner. I don't know if the Lucky Hanafuda card will help me, so we just continue on as per. Alright. Pick a card to determine the dealer. Okay, so that's... So month 6 has the flat... Okay. Am I doing well? What? I don't know how that works. Do I call Koi here, or... You're doing Arm of the Father solo as Blue Mage? Good luck, Xerix. I have not done anything in Blue Mage. I don't remember much, really, but I kind of played a little with my bro. You know more than me. You know more than me about this. Do I call Koi, or do I not call Koi? What if I just call Koi here?
Yush.
Alright, grab you. Hey there, little Incineroar. Like, I don't get the context.
Aotan.
Okay. Don't call Koi?
Yush.
I have no context.
Cerveza cristal. Cerveza cristal.
If you think you can get more sets in the game, you might have a better score. Oh, okay, okay. So if I think I can like complete out my sets down here in the bottom right, then no, I don't get it.
Shun.
What?
Yush.
Oh, okay. That, like, it's kind of traveling. You're traveling, so it's kind of hard to type. Okay, not to worry. Maybe playing Koi Koi is not the right move to make right now when it's past 9 o'clock. No, don't oh man me. You asked me to go into gambling. Twice, might I add. This is the second time on the one stream you've asked me to go gambling. I hope you understand just the fucking confusion I'm getting trying to answer to your whims. Gosh darn it. Max. Alright, so the digestion will go down. The maximum... You know what? Let's get the maximum alcohol tolerance. We'll drink all the alcohol we want. And then increase the boost step. And... Ooh! Demonstrate true mastery of the Komaki Breakfall. You attack immediately upon being knocked down. Sounds good to me. Alright, no, not settings. Say... So, yep, we overwrite this save. And then we Alt F4 this. We head back to the chatting screen, and we go and finish with our day. The advertisement is going off right now, so that's going to be unfortunate. People are going to come back to here, and they're going to be like, what happened? Where's Grant? Where's the video game? Why aren't we playing video games? And the answer will be, oh, we're not doing that. We're gonna be doing something completely different. We're gonna be raiding into someone. It's day fishing time. Oh, someone... Wait, are they... What are they doing?
Now that is what we call a skill issue.
What is going on? Sorry, I wanted to...
Glug, glub, glug, glub, glug.
Thanks for the stream. Not to worry. It'll probably go for like a couple more minutes, but hang on.
Furry Cures 1221 paid me to say go suck a lemon.
Okay. Furry Cures, I'm gonna raise this with you. When I added in the emote thing of go suck a lemon, that was just something I thought would be a funny little reaction whenever the go suck a lemon emote was being played by Blue Foxy Nicey Icy or someone who was subscribed to Blue Foxy Nicey Icy. I don't really appreciate it being used in the TTS just to use the line and then just sort of being thrown in there. It's like, it's a weird one to use, frankly, and I would appreciate it if you tone down on it. We're nearing the end of the stream anyway, so thought I'd raise that. Alrighty, let's have a look. Who is online? Who are we gonna go and raid? Let's have a look, let's have a look. Stop licking my butt, Incineroar. Alrighty, let's see, we got Natsu, we've got Kusaki, we got Dazarus is doing, like, live commentary things. I'm not interested in that. You know what? I just realized there's a little zebra. Oh yeah, he's in this little chair, isn't he? It's a little funny. He's a little guy. He's just a silly little guy. I made him a long time ago via sculpting. I have not tried to replicate that since. I have, like, it's not a really good remesh as well, but I've just never bothered to do it again. Cosmic is online. Is he? Wait, is he? Yeah, he is. I'm just looking at a few other people, okay? I'm looking at a few other kinds of peeps. Let's go for, let's see, are they done? Alrighty, we're gonna go raid into a different artist. We're gonna, oh, I can't just use the entire link, I have to use their name only. Little man facing the world in their own little chair, just sitting in their little chair. I should not be walking home in this stupid weather. Get an umbrella. Get a poncho if you want to have your hands free if you want, though. But yeah, hopefully you get home with no troubles, Jack. For everyone else, I want to say thank you everyone who came along to tonight's stream. I greatly appreciate it. I will be back online Wednesday for more Yakuza Kiwami 2. That one, we're going to be going through more of the main quest line. I'm hoping to get that particular game done because I'm pretty sure I'm 3 chapters away from the ending. And I think the way it works when you get closer to the end, the chapters are shorter in length. So it's not raining, it's just hot. Jesus Christ, Jack. Ah! Alright, here's what's going to happen. We're going to go raid into Izzy the Fat Cat. And we're gonna come up with a raid message. What? Truth is, it was rigged from the start. Damn the swell. All right, here we go. Truth is it was raid from the start. We're going to go with that as our raid message. If you have any emotes you want to use, you're welcome to do so. The reason why I'm using that raid message is because right now they're going through a Fallout New Vegas video or something like that, and I just wanted to you know, poke fun on that and utilize the raid message within there. So that is going to be our raid message. Truth is, it was raid from the start. So that will be it. And once again, thank you everyone who came along. I'll be back online Wednesday night. Thursday night should be D&D night with me and Code the Yoshi in Baldur's Gate 3. Saturday morning is the party game stream. You are invited. We are going to be going through the 2017 release of Star Wars Battlefront 2. There isn't a shit ton of loot boxes. It's not that bad. I hope you'll join in with me on that one. We're not going through the Classic 2005 or the Classic Collection. We'll be going through the 2017 version for Saturday morning's party game stream, and I hope you can join in with me on that one. Otherwise, thank you for coming along, and I will hopefully see you all next time. Bye for now.